And also coming to the bench, I believe, was Ball Ace and Harvey. So very interesting.
Everything in readiness here for this big game, being brought to you by In-Flight Travel and the Licensed Clubs Association, and everything in readiness for the first bounce here. This very important game at the Norwood Oval. The centre bounce between Big Aaron Keating, and he's up against the big bloke in Jeff Wiggins. Down goes the bounce, up they go. The tap went to Keating, immediately taken out of the air there by Palfreyman for the Eagles, but he's gone to ground, and already a little bit of feeling in there as players jostling for position, and the umpire will bounce it back in the centre of the Norwood Oval. The player in there making his presence felt for the Norwood side was Adam Euskis, who'd come down from the half-back flank. Down goes to Bank. Bounce Keating, makes front position. The ball bounces in front of him, actually. Keating tries to go with the footy. He's still got it. The handball to Cook was too quick for him. Hit him in the head and bounced away. Taken there for the Eagles by, it looks like Pays in there, and Andrew Pays at the bottom of the pack, and we'll have a bounce down once again, just forward of the centre. And at the moment, nothing happening really. A reasonable crowd given the circumstances of the Crows playing in Melbourne, of course, so it's a pretty reasonable sort of crowd. Down goes the bounce. Keating with a left-handed tap, trying to get in there for the Eagles there to pick up the ball with Colville, and it comes away now to the Eagles as they go towards centre wing on the outer side of the ground. The mark taken there by Burton. Burton for the Eagles goes up towards the pocket. Leading in the race for the ball, though, was Fleming, but he can't get to the ball in time, and it goes over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in in the right full forward pocket. That's the end towards the Eagles are kicking, and the northern end of the Norwood Oval.
And the ball about to be hurled back into play. It's about 35 metres around from the Eagles' goals. And once again, you've got Keating in ruck against Big Wiggins. Wiggins works his way to the front. No, Keating gets back in front towards the end. The ball on the deck, and it's been taken there. Cunningham tries to pick it up. McClure tackles him, and the ball goes out over the boundary line about 3 or 4 metres closer to the Eagles' goal. So the umpire about to bring the ball back in. Today's game brought to you by In-Flight Travel and the Licensed Clubs Association. Once again, Wiggins against Keating. A couple of gladiators here. Wiggins gets to the front, takes the ball, has a snap around the corner. Kluzek's down there, but the ball's gone through for one behind, the first score of the day. And Matthew Kluzek just couldn't quite get there in time before the ball beat him through the behinds. He's playing on Dale Fleming today. Now, Fleming kicks in quickly. He's got a player loose out there on the half-back flank. It may be Pitt. And yes, Stephen Pitt marks the ball on the half-back flank. Now he's got another guy loose out on the wing. Is that Harley out there,
no, Todd Davey?
Todd Davey, yes, Todd Davey. He drives the ball down. Wiggins once again in front. Keating thumps the ball away. Cunningham, where all good rovers should be, on the deck. Scotty Doreen races through the centre. He's been tackled, but hang on, the ball's coming back. Cunningham was infringed. Back behind the play. Is it where it's going? Yes, it is. Back to Cunningham, and Norwood trying to get that running game going that they're so renowned for. Now, Cunningham's going to come right across ground. He's found Bowman on the back end of the square, feints the hand pass. Then he goes with a long kick down towards the half-forward flank. Quite a few players down there, and a very strong mark to Norwood down there on the half-forward flank, Robbie Neal. He's about 51 metres out from goal. Downsborough calling for it long. That's the way it goes. Travis Hodson on him, but in front O'Brien, and O'Brien takes the mark. And he's a barrel-chested sort of a fellow, this bloke. Very strong player, and I remember earlier in the year at Woodville Oval, O'Brien gave the Eagles a lot of trouble. I think he kicked at least 6 goals on that occasion. He's marked the ball.
That ball seemed to drop then, JB, and he was in front, and of course that's the place to be. The wind socket now blowing to that left full forward pocket at the parade end, to the end of which the Redlegs are kicking. So the opportunity now for Christian O'Brien, who's back in the A-grade side, to put the first major on the board for the Redlegs. They've yet to score. The Eagles are 1 behind on the halfway hotel scoreboard. O'Brien goes bang, powerful looking kick, and he's flipped behind in a little. So the first major on the board for the Redlegs. They are 1 goal, the Eagles 1 behind. Let's go back to the studio for some around the ground scores.
Yes, at the MCG, it's Melbourne 6-5-41, leading Adelaide 2-2-14. At the Adelaide Oval, Sturton Central's 0-0. Back to Norwood.
And back here at the parade, the umpire has the footy in the centre. So a good start by the Redlegs there through the agency of Christian O'Brien, who has lined up at full forward, and his immediate opponent is Hodson. Ian Downsborough at 10.5 forward, and of course his opponent is Andrew Rogers. Down goes the bounce. Keating and Wiggins. Nullified knock. Nobody can take the ball. In goes Colville. Courageously picks up the ball. A handball is good. A chance for Holland. Holland with a handball across now to Page. Page onto the right boot. Goes into Woods full forward, but it's all Fleming back there for the legs. And Fleming takes the mark. He's hotly pressed by Burton, but gets the kick away now. Comes out here to Doreen. Scotty Doreen now for the Redlegs. Brings it along the grandstand side. In front, it's going to be Keating. The big chap takes the mark. Backward of centre wing on the grandstand side. The drop punt is a shocker off the boot. In fact, he put it out of bounds on the John Bull. And the kick to be taken for the Eagles there by Jason Ziller. Ziller now just backward of centre. In fact, he's going to go across ground. He's got Holland there. And Dutchy Holland takes the mark. He'll go in centre of the ground, taken there for the Eagles there by Higgins. Higgins onto the right boot. He's got a Guernsey loose across there, and Rintoul and hit him on the head actually. Went straight through his hand. It almost knocked him out. A chance now for Page. Page swings the ball onto the right boot. There's no one home there. Leading in the race for the ball is Kluzak. He grabs it and then fends a player off, or he tried to. Slipped to the ground and went over the boundary line with the footy underneath him. So a boundary throw in right in front of the halfway hotel scoreboard. Norwood a 1 goal. The Eagles 1 behind.
And once again, about 48 metres out from the Eagles' goal. And we've got Keating and Wiggins. They look like they're going to be doing a fair bit of ruck work today. Wiggins wins it down. McClure gets the ball, but he's mopped up pretty quickly there. A couple of Norwood players rushed in and grabbed him. And the umpire says, I'll have the ball, and I'll bounce it just outside the Eagles' 50 now. Fleming on top with a couple of sorties forward against Kluzak. He's read the ball better. Now Keating flips it down to no one's real advantage. And the ball's seen over the line. And Palfreyman's gone over the line and over the fence. And a little bit of feeling out there. Palfreyman dealt with as he was the last fella to have the ball. And umpires quickly settle that situation down, and the boundary umpire will throw the ball back in. That's the best way to sort it out. Get on with the game. Wiggins and Keating. Keating knocks it out. Doreen about to run onto the ball like he always does. A terrific link man, Doreen. He gets onto the ball quickly, and it's again Norwood coming back into the midfield here. Cunningham. He's about to be grabbed, though. Beautifully tackled Cunningham. The ball now coming out wide. Leal doesn't quite read it properly. Holland gets it. Pyman's in there, and we've got a free kick. Dutchy Holland, who's played the last half a dozen games for the Eagles, and has really added some genuine pace. He goes short. Nigel Palfreyman, who's been in good form, gives it off. Higgins gets it. He goes short again. He's got Pesh running down there. Wiggins behind him, dropped a sitter. Might have been a little bit unsighted. It now comes back. Higgins gets the ball again. He's seen Pesh. Is that Pesh out wide? But it's gone past Pesh, and Anthony Harvey, dropping back across the half-back line, gets the ball. He comes back into the middle, finds Sujai Klook at the true centre half-back position. Now, he's come long out wide. Cunningham's there working onto the ball. Leal on him, fisted away, goes through Harvey's legs. Oh, a heavy clash there. 2 Norwood players have hit the deck. Cunningham's gone down. There's another player down there as well for Norwood, DB. I think it was Adam Huskis. Anyway, play goes on. Pitt's got it almost at centre wing. He goes downfield over the head of Damien King, though, and finds Brent Fruin, who's been in good form as well. He goes to Palfreyman. Palfreyman by hand out wide. Jason Ziller gets the ball. Ziller now goes to the true centre half forward position. He's got big Wiggins making position. Makes a bit of a contest. McClure's in there, but Norwood dive on the footy, and the umpire will call for a bounce about 35 metres out from the Eagles' goal.
Yes, a pretty heavy clash, that one, JB, and Adam Huskis looked a little bit stunned, but he got up and then immediately back into the play. But gee whiz, got him in the temple area, I'd say, as the bounce goes down inside the Eagles 50. Big thump from Burton. Opportunity now as it's picked up on the run by Robert Pyman, and Pyman has put it through for a goal to the Eagles. So the Eagles back in front here, 1-1 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. They lead Norwood 1 straight goal. Back to the studio.
Quarter time at the MCG. Melbourne 6-6-42 leading Adelaide 2-2-14. Central's 1-1-7 leading Sturt 1 point. Port Adelaide 1-2-8 leading North Adelaide yet to score, and West Adelaide 1 straight goal 6 leading Glenelg yet to score. Back to Norwood.
And that was very good play there by the Eagles centre half forward Brett Burton, who flipped it over and found Robbie Pyman, who's been in great form around the goals this year. Now the ball back in the centre. Todd Davey off, Tommy Harley on. And Scotty Carslake, is it going down to be, is he loose across half-back back there, Carslake? He's gone back there anyway.
No, Holland's about to pick him up.
OK, Eddie Holland's chasing him down there. OK, there's the ball now. We've got Keating and Wiggins. Keating gets the tap. Pesh overruns the ball. A few players in there, including Macca. Macca gets half a scrubber of a kick to the ball. Pyman reaps it off him. No one can get a clear getaway. Pyman taken high, but I think you'll find the umpire had already called for the bounce. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to bounce it just the Eagles side of the centre square.
Darren Holland, actually. Eddie, you'd love to be running down there, JB, I can assure you.
Son of Eddie, Darren Dutchy Holland. The ball comes wide. In there, Harvey. He's wrapped up. Crashes into Huskis. Huskis is getting in everyone's way at the moment. And the umpire calls for another bounce. Of course, we saw Adam Huskis on Live and Kicking on Wednesday night, DB, and he might have got a shock when he just ran into one JC then, but we got a shock when we saw him on Wednesday night, didn't we?
Did we ever?
Ball about to be bounced again. Wiggins there, Keating, jostling for positions. Wiggins gets the tap to Pesh, who gets a quick kick, goes about 40 metres though. Burton and back there, Lachlan. Lachlan gets a scrubber of a kick, but it's effective. Out there to Harvey. Running onto the ball then would be Carslake. The ball goes now back into the centre of the play. Sujai Cook's got it. He's free about 55 metres out from goal. Has a bounce, set sail for home, looks for the goals. Lambert down there, O'Brien. The ball still in play. Robbie Neal picks it up, goes around the corner. He's kicked that. A magnificent goal there by Robbie Neal. And the other three players went up. Robbie Neal stayed down. The ball went out towards the point post. He gathered it, swung onto the left boot, and straight over the goal umpire's head. And the Eagles make a change now. Corey Lambert off and Chad Rintoul on.
Yeah, good use of the footy through the centre then by the legs. It started with Troy Clements and ended up with Sujai Cook, whose long kick lobbed in the square. O'Brien actually went up high and spread-eagled the pack, and the ball spilled free to a Neal, who, as you heard Jamie Braidwood say, a magnificent goal around the body. Umpire's got the footy, and it's a free kick to Rintoul, is it? Or is it
Nicky
Pesh?
Nicky Pesh.
Got too many in the square. Is there ever? There's about 100 in there. As Pesh goes bang now up towards the half-forward, playing at the back. The mark taken for the Eagles there by Kluzak. And Kluzak now will kick from just inside 50. And this, if it's a major, will put the Eagles back in front. Norwood leading on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, 2 goals. Eagles 1-1, but the chance now for Kluzak. He didn't get onto it. He kicked it high. It's going to lob in the square. Oh, Burton went up. The back, it's going to be a goal. Is it Pyman again? I think it might be. Yes, beautifully done by Robert Pyman. The big men went up, and he read it nicely off the back of the pack and steered it through. So the Eagles back in front, 2-1. 13, Norwood, 2 straight goals, 12 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. And on the Key Home Loans time clock, we've played 10 minutes of this, the first quarter.
Pyman's had a fairly injury-prone season this year. As a result, he's been playing in a forward pocket where he'd normally play in the Eagles midfield. And he's kicked some 33 or 34 goals, and a lot of them through very clever work down there of just knowing where to position himself. The umpire bounces the ball again. Wiggins again opposed to Big Keating. Up they go. Wiggins gets the tap. Pesh trying to run onto the ball. Pyman tried to flick it out. No one can get a clean possession. Pyman now scrubs it off the ground. It's out there towards Colville. Coming out to Reen. He got barreled over. In there also Cunningham, McClure. Poultryman gets the ball, flips it back into play. Gee, it must have been close to out of bounds. Colville gets it. Pyman's got it again. Goes in towards centre half forward, but you've got Norwood dropping back there. And that's Troy Clements back there, who I believe played some junior football. There kicks into the man on the mark. Clements gets it again, though. Burton goes to ground, and Clements now runs away. He now kicks it over the centre square. It's a scrubber old kick. Huskis in there. Harvey gets it. Falls over Huskis. In there again, Poultryman doing some good work. Flushes it out. It goes there to Colville. He goes downfield over the head of Pesh. No one can get it. Carslake's got it now. Swoops onto it. Fleming's left Matthew Kluzak and comes downfield. It goes back towards Higgins. Then now it's with the other fellow. Wiggins goes out there looking for Burton. A little bit fortuitous then. I think Wiggins slapped it onto the boot and found Burton. There's 2 Eagles alone in the goal square. One, in fact, Matthew Kluzak lets it go over his head, I should say, and it's straight through the middle. A goal there to Brett Burton, who's a real young gun, DB.
Yes, he's got plenty of potential, no doubt about that. But a couple of mess-ups there from the Norwood defence allowed the Eagles to take possession of the footy. And now, as a result, the Eagles lead 3-1-19. Norwood, 2 straight goals on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. And we've played about 12 minutes in this, the first quarter, on the Key Home Loans time clock.
And the ball about to be bounced again. Fleming there took a chance. He left Kluzak. Now there's the ball, a terrific bounce too. Up they go. This time Keating gets the knock. Cunningham in there, but he's wrapped up. And it's by Nigel Poultryman. And Nigel Poultryman's last 4 or 5 weeks for the Eagles in the midfield has been terrific. And he looks to be a player of the future. He's been a bit of a football journeyman, of course. He's been in Tasmania, played for the Brisbane Bears, and also for Fitzroy, now here with the Eagles. Ruckman jostling again. The ball gets flushed out. Cunningham gets the ball now. They're all trying to pounce on it, but it stacks on the mill. Now it just gets out. King tries to get it, but he's wrapped up. Jared Harvey's got him in a, you're not going to get away from this tackle. And the umpire will call for his 3rd bounce in about 20 seconds. The Eagles 3 goals, 119. Norwood 2 goals, 12 points. Down it goes. Up they go again. This time Huskis chips in, gets the tap. Cook runs onto the ball, grabs the ball well, hand passes it out and finds Obst. He goes downfield, and up they go down there, but it's a mark to dropping back there would be Travis Hodgson, of course. Yes, looked a bit like Brett Burton. He goes across ground foolishly. No one can really gather the ball, though. Pitt almost did. Rin Tool runs onto the ball. He'll be looking for a big game. Chance to get back into the Crows, down to centre wing. Bowman judges it well, but ultimately knocks it over the boundary line behind Burton, and the ball on centre wing on the outer side, with the Eagles with an early lead of 7 points. We've played 13.5 minutes into the first quarter.
Boundary throw in centre wing on the outer side of the ground as Harley comes off, and Davey to come back on with the left arm between the elbow and the shoulder strapped as the ball comes back in towards the centre. There's a free kick to the Redlegs. In the back it was, and it's going to go to King. Damien King now for the Norwood side, and he'll put them into attack. He's just forward of centre on the outer side of the ground. There he goes. He goes in short, and filling the spot there for the Redlegs is Doreen. Doreen will go onto the right boot there. He's looking now for big Downsborough in front of, on that occasion, Rogers. The ball tapped the ground. Here's a chance now for Harvey to pick it up. He can't do so for the legs. In goes Downsborough, and sacks on the mill, and we'll have a bounce down in the left full forward pocket. The end to which Norwood are kicking, that's the parade end, and at the moment the wind socket limp. Absolutely motionless, the wind socket, as the umpire will bounce down. Down it goes. Big number of players. Downsborough is in there trying to pick it up with Clemens. Off the ground, a shot at goal there. Looked like Robbie Neal it was, but he's offline through for the minor score. So Norwood 2-1-13. The Eagles are 3-1-19 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. And we're approaching, in fact, we've played 15 minutes on the Key Home Loans time clock in this, the first quarter at the parade.
Now Fruin looks infield. He's got a couple of players short. He went to go to them and then decides no, he won't quite kick it yet. The umpire's saying, hurry up, Brent, you haven't got that long to kick it. And he now goes outside. He went over the line. The umpire's seen it. And the ball will be bounced, obviously 10 metres out from the Norwood goal, and that's a cardinal sin. You just can't afford to do that. Well, kicking into the man on the mark and going over the line is just silly play.
I think he was in two minds there, because he went to go forward, and the umpire then whistled him on, and he was sort of halfway through it, and then he went back and then, of course, overstepped.
He zigged when he should have zagged, DB. Exactly. Now the ball's being bounced. Up they go. Downsborough takes the ruck in there with Fruin. Downsborough slaps it back to the front to McIntosh. McIntosh gives it out wide and finds the wingman Obst, who snaps around the corner.
Got it.
He has got that, and I'd say that smelled of a set play, that one. Downsborough smacking it back towards centre-half forward. McIntosh was there all by himself, and on it went to the wingman Obst, who dropped down, and I'd say they've practiced that at training, that one. For the moment, let's go back to the studio, though, with the scores level here at 3-1 apiece, and get some other scores.
Yes, Melbourne 6-6-42, leading Adelaide 2-2-14. Port 3-3-21. North Adelaide get to score. And Central's 1-1-7, leading Sturt 4 points. Back to Norwood.
Thank you, Peter Greco. And down goes the bounce. So the scores are level. We've got a rip snorter here. Harvey with a handball out wide. He finds Clements. Clements onto the left boot for the Redlegs. Up towards half forward. Out in front, though, trying to kick it off the ground. Might have been Fruin, was it?
Yes,
anyway,
it was.
The ball comes down to
Jimmy McClure.
McClure kicks it high, but he didn't look where he kicked it, and it's straight onto the chest of Troy Clements for the Redlegs. He goes bang with the right boot now. The ball holds up in the wind this time. In front, though, it's big Robbie Neal, and he's been paid the mark. Third grab and kick from outside 50. Well, it's certainly a choppy wind out there, because that ball held up noticeably as he goes to the lead of O'Brien, who's in front. Too much pace on that occasion, and Christian O'Brien takes his second big mark in the quarter. He's already kicked one, and a chance now to put the Redlegs in front. Just a little bit too much speed for Hodgson on that occasion, JB.
He certainly did, DB, and Robbie Neal proving a real handful down there. Dutchy Holland's playing on him, I think, and he's just proving a bit too good at this stage. Neal, he's very dangerous. He's, of course, kicked that goal himself and created this one.
Yes, and now O'Brien, he'll have no trouble with the distance. He's a powerful kick.
Powerful man.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? You wouldn't like to bump into him on a dark night. Or any night for that matter, whether it's dark or in the summertime. There's the kick from O'Brien. Magnificent kick. The goal umpire, he looked like a statue as it went over his head. And the Redlegs now in front by one straight kick. That's a sausage roll. 4-1-25 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Eagles are 3-1, and that's 19.
Today's game brought to you, of course, by In-Flight Travel and the Licenses Club Association. And as you said, DB, the scoreboard on behalf of the Halfway Hotel along there on Port Road.
And of course, in-flight travel, partly run by Elbows Aitken, who would normally be here of an afternoon or the Saturday, but he's somewhere in Bali enjoying a wonderful holiday. Good luck to him.
But I'm sure he'll be tuned in listening to us, Steve,
yes,
anyway.
Sure, on his little crystal set somewhere.
The ball about to be bounced again. Down it goes. Wiggins and Keating. We've said that a few times today. McClure gets the ball out of the middle, goes out wide. Now Burton leads Lachlan out there. He's got about 2 or 3 yards on him. The ball bounces in front of him. Burton goes left, right, goes to ground, gets up quickly, jams it on the boot, kicks around the corner. But I think you'll find it's going to go out of bounds just inside the Eagles' 50. And Brett Burton couldn't quite shake Lachlan Bowman down there, and Bowman was able to just make him kick quickly and under pressure.
One thing I like about Burton, JB, is he moves around. He's everywhere. I'd hate to be a centre-half back on him. I'd be worn out by the first quarter, I'd say.
He does do a fair bit of running. He's got a fair bit to learn. He does go to ground a lot if he doesn't mark it, but he's only a boy. And he's going to be a very, very good league footballer, if not AFL footballer down the track. Now, Obster's got the ball, runs a mile with it. Handball's back into the centre. He's put his teammate under the hammer here. He was tackled pretty hard. Norwood still trying to get it out. Wiggins has got it, goes towards Zilla. Chipping it in the middle there was Brett Higgins. He has a pot shot at the goal, and it goes across the face and through for one behind. So Norwood 4 goals, 125. The Eagles 3 goals, 2. 20 points, and we're edging towards time on in the first quarter. About 19 and a half minutes into the first quarter, Dale Fleming has the ball, and he's about to put it into play. He's going to go to the outer side, which is where he's gone the twice that the Eagles have scored points. Wiggins gets to the front, does well. Keating, though, manages to get the ball to ground and then hits it out wide to Obbs. Dobbs jams it onto the boot. He's got Bowman, who's run down to centre wing. He gathers it in, then tries to handball, feints the handball, actually, goes back onto the left foot, kicks it back into the middle. Leal's caught under the ball, or knocks it away when he should have marked it. Holland grabs it, but is wrapped up there by the big Norwood forward in Downsborough, and the umpire will bounce the ball between centre and the half-forward flank for the legs.
Yes, great tackle there by Downsborough, but Leal, I think, could have marked that ball. There wasn't obviously any talking in that pack. Down goes the bounce. Downsborough up against Fruin it was. The ball comes to ground. A chance now. Palfrey with the handball is good to McClure. McClure into the centre. He's looking there for Zilla. The ball bounces okay for him. Back it comes to Palfreyman. He's been a damn good player. Has a bounce. Advances to the edge of the 50. The kick's a shocker off the boot, though. Did everything so well, and then the kick let him down. And it's found Fleming. Fleming, wonderful player in defence. He just as I give him a big rap, and he nearly put the ball out of bounds, and the Fuller's diving across to take the mark, and he was just inside the line. It's Stephen Pitt. Pitt now. There's the drop punt coming up towards the half-back flank. Up in front, Keating ducked the head at the last moment. Down goes McClure. He got the ball. They've got him. And there'll be a bounce down on the left half-forward flank for the Eagles. They're kicking to the northern end of the Norwood Oval. And on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, they're 3-2-20. The Redlegs are 4-1-25. Down goes the bounce. Big Keating again. Probably had the better of that duel. The handball came out from Cook to Clement. Clement gave it over there to Harvey. Harvey towards McIntosh. McIntosh coming along centre wing, running like a 2-year-old. He puts it on the right boot. It's not a well-placed kick, though. It's going to go over the head of Downsborough. Taken by Rintoul now for the Eagles. He'll go inboard. The handball is good to Fruin. Fruin to Page. And the Eagles are out of trouble now as he puts it on the right boot towards the centre of the ground at the back. Bowman taps it down cleverly to Obbs. Obbs with the pace now. Will he have a bounce? No, he goes with a drop punt up towards half forward. Huskus is there also down with the ball thumped away, taken by Fruin. He gets the handball. A chance for Harvey if he can pick it up for the Eagles. He goes to ground. A chance for Cunningham now. Cunningham gets the handball over to McIntosh. McIntosh on the right boot up towards the pocket, but there's a free kick going back here, and it's going to go to Cunningham. And JB, I missed that. What actually happened there? Cunningham
was felled after he handed the ball off to McIntosh. McClure still mowed him down, and of course Cunningham now with the free kick, and importantly Rintoul's gone on to Robbie Neal.
Okay, so the eagle eyes of Jamie Braidwood there. I was watching the flood of the footy. And Cunningham now the ball back with him. He will kick from about 70 metres. Certainly wouldn't make the difference. O'Brien leads. The kick is not bad, but it's not good enough, because here's a chance now for Rogers to burst through. Got the handball away, was tackled there. He got rid of the ball, then was tackled. Probably unlucky not to get a free kick there, because he handballed the ball in front of him and then was tackled and brought to the ground. But the umpire said play on. And as a result, we've got a bounce inside 50, the Norwood 50. They're kicking to the parade end. And we've into time on here in the first quarter on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Redlegs are 4-1-25. The Eagles 3-2-20. Down goes to bounce. Harvey with a big thump. Oh, luckily for the Eagles, the bounce didn't favour Norwood. Comes to Cook. Chance for Ops now. Ops will get the handball intercepted by Huskis. Huskis with the handball out wide. A chance now here for the Redlegs. Cunningham's got it. He'll go in short. And the mark taken there by Robbie Neal for the Redlegs. And I just wonder about that move of Harvey to thump that ball back in towards centre-half forward, JB, because it gave the Redlegs possession.
Yeah, really should have thumped it wide then. He was a little bit, I suppose, restricted to where he could punch the ball, but, well, it's ended up with Robbie Neal, who just slipped away from Chad Rintoul, and Neal now has a punt at goal. The umpire does not move. Has that umpire moved all day down there? He looks like he's a cement statue, like you said before. And I tell you what, Robbie Neal is proving a big handful here to the Eagles as they now move along to 5 goals, 1 Norwood. The Eagles 3 goals, 2. Let's get some more scores.
Yes, it's Melbourne 7-6-48 leading Adelaide 2-3-15. West Adelaide 2-4-16 leading Glenelg 2 straight goals 12. Centrals 2-3-15 leading Sturt 4 points. And Port 6-5-41. North Adelaide yet to score. Back to Norwood.
And the ball about to be bounced in the centre. We're 22.5 minutes into the first quarter. Norwood snuck away to an 11-point advantage here. And there it goes. Wiggins against Keating again. Wiggins gets the tap. Just goes past Pesh. Pyman runs onto the ball. Slips a quick handball back towards Wiggins, who wasn't expecting it. He tries to just poke it out the back, but everyone's wrapped up in there again. King finishes up with the footy for Norwood and hands it back to the umpire, who's going to bounce it once again. Both sides getting a real ascendancy in the centre. They've both, there's been a lot of scrimmaging, a lot of bouncing, not a lot of clean possession out of the centre. Now Wiggins knocks the ball out towards Zilla. It goes over his head. He tries to have a fist at it, but just misses it. Oh, someone was taken high in there. It was a Norwood player, Scotty Doreen. He goes out and finds Cunningham on centre wing. How did he get loose, you'd like to know? Mark Micken would like to know as well. He goes on towards Huskis, who crosses 50. Huskis runs with the ball. He's run too far with the ball, surely. He's run into Rintoul holding the ball, and they're allowed... No, they have to bring this back, surely. No, they've allowed it to play on, and the Eagles somehow get out of trouble, and it's been taken away there by Jared Harvey. Big Keating gets the ball. He ducks around a couple of players. Clements finishes up with it on the wing. Burton runs into him. Clements gets the kick forward, though, and Rintoul camped under it. Will mark it unopposed across the Norwood half-back line. Goes towards the centre of the ground. Wiggins is in there. The ball fisted away, but Pesh runs onto it beautifully. McIntosh after him. He hears the voice from Fruin, though, and gives it out there. On to Pays, who's been a terrific link man. He gets it on centre wing. Goes down there long looking. Kluzak pushing and shoving. He got Fleming under the ball, but then missed it himself, and it's going to go out of bounds in the Eagles' forward pocket. And he did all the hard work, or all the illegal work, whatever you like, but then spilt the mark, did Matthew Kluzak, and the umpire will throw the ball in. The Eagles not much more time to score in this quarter, surely, but they have it down the right end of the ground, with Norwood holding an 11-point advantage.
Yes, in the right full forward pocket, about to come back into play by the boundary umpire. There's the throw in, up they fly. A big thump from the back by Burton. Bowman's in the way though for the Redlegs. He's looking for movement further afield, gets it through the agency of Doreen. Doreen will come towards centre wing, Cunningham in front. The ball thumped away from behind though. Chance now for Colville. Colville tried to get the handball away. Holland's in there trying to pick it up. Holland gets it back to Colville. Colville in turn to Palfreyman. Palfreyman on the left boot. The kick smothered. Chance now for Ziller if he can pick it up. He's got it now. The handball is good to Harvey. Harvey towards the centre half forward. The long drop punt going towards full forward. Players have set themselves. Thumped away by
Wiggins.
The mark to big Wiggins. Fleming looked as though he'd thumped the ball away. He in fact did, but it went back into the arms of Wiggins, who had first grab. And so big Jeff Wiggins now the opportunity to bring the scores a little bit closer. He's on an acute angle, but gee whiz, he should be able to kick this. He's only about 15 metres out. And at the moment, the Eagles are 3-2-20, Norwood 5-1-31 on the halfway hotel scoreboard. There's big Wiggins now. Important kick this one. There's the kick. It doesn't look too good off the boot. In fact, he may have missed. I think he has. He's put it through for the minor score. So a golden opportunity gone begging there for the Eagles just prior to the quarter-time break. And they move along to 3-3-21, Norwood a 5-1-31.
Yes, and this quarter's now has gone about 26 minutes. And again, in fact, this time, Doreen to bring the ball back in. He's one of those sweet movers, Doreen. And he's been a terrific link man for Norwood today. Kicks it out wide there. Wiggins goes again, but out there in front is big Bowman. And Bowman drifting across from centre half back. Now he kicks in towards the centre, looking for Harvey. Burton gets in front, taps it down cleverly. Jimmy McClure runs on it. Back to Burton, who made hard work of it. It goes past Harvey. It's opened the door now here for Norwood, who stream forward. Clements kicks it down. Harvey O'Brien in front, nearly dragged down there. Should have got a free kick. That mightn't matter because Harvey runs onto the ball, goes with the left boot, but across the face. In fact, it just sneaks in for a point. And, gee, there was a couple of should-have-been frees in there. But Norwood move along to 5 goals, 2, leading the Eagles 3-3. Gavin Colville coming off for the Eagles, and no one ready to come back on. So need to get this organised because they're virtually down a player at the moment, and here they come. Bigland's coming on at this late stage. The ball kicked back into play there, and there's a free kick to the Eagles in there. McClure, who was taken without the football, will get the free kick about, or just on the Norwood 50-metre line. Gee, there can't be much time left. Norwood holding this 11-point lead. McClure goes with a high ball out there to centre wing. Bowman trying to come in there again, crash the pack. The ball goes to ground towards the boundary line. In fact, over the boundary line, and it's on the centre wing area. On a beautiful day here at Norwood Oval today. And, of course, this game brought to you by In-Flight Travel and the Licenses Club Association.
Boundary throw in now. Immediately onto the ball goes Bigland. Bigland in opposition to Keating. The ball over the back here, beautifully taken by Palfreyman. He's been a good player. No, it was Higgins, in fact. Up toward 10.5 forward. Burton, good use of the ball. Gets it out here towards Pesh. Pesh on the right boot. It's not a good kick, though. It's, in fact, it's come across the face of goal and ends up with Fleming. Fleming goes in short now. Opportunity now for the Redlegs as it goes off the boot of Carslake towards Harvey. Harvey back to Carslake. Carslake now will go onto the right boot for the legs, and he goes up towards 10.5 forward. McIntosh tried to get into the air. The ball tapped the ground, and there's the siren to end the first quarter here at the parade. Norwood 5-2-32 on the halfway to Hotel scoreboard. They lead the Eagles 3 goals, 3-21. So a pretty good quarter for the Redlegs, and they lead at the moment by 11 points on the halfway Hotel scoreboard. The goal scorers for the Redlegs at this stage.
Rintoul might be able to use his pace out of the back line, but that creates a problem, and to do that he's got to be loose on Robbie Neal. So
fair enough. Umpire with the ball in the centre, about to bounce it down. Up it comes beautifully. Up they go. The tap there by the big bloke there in Bigland. It comes down to McIntosh with the legs, though. He goes up towards half forward. At the back there, almost a mark to Rintoul as we speak. He gets the handball out towards the boundary line. He'll get a free kick because after he got rid of the footy, he was grabbed high there by Robbie Neal, and the free kick to come back towards Rintoul. So he's at half back now to put the Eagles out of danger momentarily. Goes high towards the centre wing. In front, Keating at the back almost. In fact, mark has been paid there to Bigland. Gee whiz, he got high then and pulled a beauty because he was behind his opponent as the ball goes up towards half forward now. The ball thumped away from Burton there by Bowman. Comes to ground. Players in on top of the footy. Stacks on the mill. And we'll have a bounce down now between centre wing and half forward for the Eagles on the outer side of the ground. Just into the second quarter now. We've just played about 30 seconds on the halfway Hotel scoreboard. It's Norwood 5-2-32 and the Eagles are 3-3-21. Very important clash this game. Down goes the bound. The tap there, beautiful tap there, came from the big bloke in Keating. It went to Cunningham. He was grabbed. The umpire's head holding the ball. Gee whiz, that was sudden death. And,
no prior opportunity there, TV.
You wouldn't have thought so, but Pyman's got the footy anyway. Not a good kick. In fact, it's gone straight down the throat of Fleming. And Fleming now, gone to play on. He thought he saw a Guernsey. He did, but it was covered. The handball went to Keating. Keating back to Fleming. Fleming's forced to go to Opt. Opt got met high. Going to go for holding the ball here.
Yes.
Yes, he had a couple of opportunities to get rid at that time. And no argument with that holding the ball, but the previous one I thought was sudden death.
And, of course, the old rule, DP, never handball to a ruckman.
Yeah, exactly. Big Keating got the shock of his life there, and as a consequence now, Pesh is lining up for goal, and he's about 35 metres out straight in front, usually a very reliable kick. There's Nick Pesh, and really he should make a meal of this. 35 metres out. There's the kick on its way. Goal umpire. What, in fact, I think it might have sailed through. It has for a goal. Went very close to the goal post through the high diddle. So 4-3-27 the Eagles. Norwood 5-2-32. Back to the studio.
It's Melbourne 8-8-56 leading Adelaide 4-4-28. And Sturton Central's 2-5, 17 points apiece. Back to Norwood.
And the ball about to be bounced in the centre. The boundary umpire's rushing the ball back here to the field umpire. And Biglands, who's giving Wiggins a bit of a rest in this quarter in the ruck. And, of course, Keating's got a soldier on. And that might be interesting because Wiggins has gone down to full forward down there and might prove a bit of a handful for Stephen Pitt, who's giving away a height disadvantage there. Biglands gets the tap onto Pesh, who overruns the ball. Doesn't matter, though, because Zilla comes out with it. He screws it around towards the half-forward line. Burton clean with the take, gives it to Pays. Pays kicks it forward. It's going to go out of bounds about 50 metres out from goal. Pays had really no one on down there, so he managed to get the ball forward. And they'll set up again here about 50 metres around from the Eagles' goal. Keating and Biglands, Zilla on the ball. Clements has got Brett Higgins under lock and key there. Of course, Higgins a dangerous forward, Now it's thrown in. Biglands goes to ground. Keating grabs the ball. Hand passes off to McIntosh, who gets a lightning handball away and opens up some space to Obbs. He has 2 bounces, 3 bounces through the centre. Pays gives chase. Obbs now goes with a kick down forward. O'Brien gets away, though, from Travis Hodgson. They were together. O'Brien used his bulky frame to advantage there. And burst of pace as well. Got away from Travis Hodgson. And you're right, DB. His pace is a factor. I mean, Hodgson's giving as good as he gets in the man-to-man contest, which is a bit surprising. But, gee, O'Brien's got a turn of speed, hasn't he?
Well, you're right. They were neck and neck there in the last 10 metres of that contest. The body came in contact and he broke away. But a beautifully placed kick too by Obbs, I thought. Yeah,
Obbs just put it out on that left-hand side, which was the side that O'Brien was, and that gave him the chance to use his body. We've seen he's been a beautiful kick, and this is not much exception. This is very close, not much reaction from behind the goals. It's there, though, and the people behind the goals weren't sure either, and it's just snuck in. And that is his 3rd goal now, Christian O'Brien, and he's proving a handful down there for young Travis Hodgson. Norwood go along to 6 goals too. That's 38 on the Key Home Loans. Oh, that's the Key Home Loans time clock. The score's not up there. It's the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. 6-2 Norwood 38, leading the Eagles 4 goals 3-27, and we've just ticked over 5 minutes into the second term.
So a quick reply there from the Redlegs after that goal to Nicky Pesh. And the umpire has it back in the centre once again. Gee, he can bounce a footy, this bloke. He's tapped away there by Keating towards Cunningham. He overruns the footy. Pesh has got the opportunity now to get the kick away. Comes up towards the centre of the wing. A chance for Cunningham again. Gave it over to Davey. Davey dodges around and then will come back onto his right boot at centre wing. The ball may have been touched off the boot. It has been. The umpire calls play on. Cook got a quick handball away. And now here for Harvey. Chance now for Zilla. Zilla got the handball over to McClure. McClure onto the boot. Up towards the centre half forward position. Coming out to meet the ball was Doreen. In goes the player there in Clements. Clements gave it over towards Davey. Davey with a beautiful handball out here towards the grandstand side. It's picked up by Cunningham. Cunningham's kick, though, comes towards centre wing, taken there by Fruin. And the ball goes towards the boundary line. Still in play, is it? Yes, it is. Obbs tried to pick it up. And it's gone over the boundary line for a throw-in right in front of the 5RPH commentary position. And a number of players over the ball on that occasion. It was right on the boundary line and then finally was shuffled over. The boundary umpire about to propel the ball back into play. Oh, up high there with Neil. The ball comes to ground. Now, big Keating there kicks it high toward 10.5 forward. No big timber there for Norwood. The ball pumped away there by Lil. Here's a chance now for Euskes. Euskes put the ball on the right boot. It's going in towards the pocket. I think it might go out of bounds on the full. It will. With in hot pursuit O'Brien and also Hodgson, and the kick to be taken by Hodgson. And Hodgson didn't think he had the kick then, which was amazing because the ball did go out on the full. But anyway, Hodgson now for the Eagles to bring the ball back into play. In the back pocket is the kick. He'll go to the outer side of the ground. Big pack of players will do. Oh, there was going to be a back of players. One by one, they moved out of the way, and coming in to take the mark there was Bigland. He gave it over toward Pesh. Pesh towards centre wing. Culver's out there all by himself for the Eagles. Picks it up, comes inboard now towards the half-forward flank. With balls off the side of the boot. And as a result, the mark taken there by Clements for Norwood. Clements has got plenty of Guernseys over here as far as the Redlegs are concerned. He kicks it out to Harvey. Harvey over to Pitt, who supports him. He gets the kick now towards Cunningham. Cunningham back in towards Obbs. Obbs dodges around, uses his pace now. He's going to go in short. He's looking there for King, and that beautiful placement by Obbs. He could have blazed away at goal, but he saw King running down into the pocket and chipped it over on the left boot. Now Damien King will line up for goals about 30 metres out. On a bit of an angle, but with the breeze coming across the oval, he'll just allow for it, and really the distance will be no problem, just the accuracy here. And on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, Norwood are leading 6-2-38. The Eagles 4-3-27, so an important shot at goal here from King. He allows, and look at that, it's a beautiful kick. He's put it through the high diddle. So Norwood 7 goals to 44. The Eagles 4-3-27 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, and the Redlegs just getting away from the Eagles, Jamie Braidwood.
DB, they're opening up a little bit of a dangerous break at the moment now, Norwood, and they're hard to stop here, as we know. And just coming onto the field is big Lenny Pascoe, and King taken off the field after that goal. And big Lenny Pascoe brought on, and he's going to go down to the forward line. So Brent Fruin is going to pick him up. So he's going to have his hands full down there, I'm sure, because he's giving away a lot of height to Andrew Pascoe. The ball about to be bounced in the centre of the ground.
It's amazing how many players kick goals and then get dragged. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes. Now Biglan's gets the tap and it goes out wide. Gee, Cunningham's playing a terrific game. I bet the Eagles wish he wasn't back in this week. Hangs onto the ball for a long time. Is brought to ground, but the umpire says he has no opportunity to get rid of the footy, and he will bounce it again. Biglan's is going quite well out there, DB, rucking against an experienced player at this level like Keating.
My word, he's a wonderful leaper.
Now, Biglan's again, body to body this time. He gets the tap out wide. Pesh tries to get a kick on the ball. Palfreyman gets about a 30-metre kick forward. Down there towards Burton. Burton runs onto the footy, has to reach up to grab it. This gives Bowman a chance to mow him down. Burton still pushing it in front of him, gathers him beautifully. Higgins taken high, but he can just race away with the footy now. He goes inboard looking for Jimmy McClure, and he's found him about 40 metres out from goal, and this distance would test little Jimmy McClure, who has had a pretty good season this year, but not a long kick of the football, but good use there by Brett Higgins. It's about the first time today that Higgins has broken away from Troy Clements. McClure's got to give this all he can. He puts a lot of oomph into that. That's a nice kick, goes right to the goal line. Burton gets a boot on it, but it's gone around behind the post. And they came forward. The big, tall timber of Aaron Keating back there managed to knock it forward out towards the side, and Burton put it through for a point. 4-4 to 7-2, and Norwood come in. Doreen, a long kick, found Obbs by himself. He goes outside 50 with a kick there down towards centre wing. Sujai Cook gets away here from young Leal, handballs it on to Harvey, and Norwood's running players are just killing the Eagles through the centre. Harvey gives it out wide. Who's out there? Cunningham, I suppose, is it? He goes with a long raking kick, in fact, Carslake, and I think it might even be through, and that's brilliant football by Norwood. And the Eagles, who are renowned for their running players, are getting shown how to do it at the moment by the Norwood Redlegs. 8 goals to 50, leading the Eagles 4 goals 4-28. Back for some scores with Peter Greco.
Yes, at the MCG half-time, it's Melbourne 9-8-62, leading Adelaide 4-4-28. West Adelaide 5-4-34, leading Glenelg 3 straight 18. Port 7-11-53, leading North 1 straight 6. And Sturt 3-5-23, leading Centrals 2-8. In fact, Sturt 3-5-23, leading Centrals 2-6-18. Back to Norwood.
Well, it would appear the Crows are in a bit of froth and bubble at half-time, JB, over there at the G.
Yes, and the Eagles are in a bit of trouble here, DB, I'd say, unless they can get the next couple of goals. They get wrapped up in the middle. Palfreyman gets it, tries to flick around, but look at this. Harvey's got it again. He races forward. It's a kick down there. Pascoe's in front. O'Brien held them all off, and Pascoe took a mark in the end, unopposed, and I'd say the Eagles are in big trouble here, with Norwood starting to put a bit of a gap on them, because Pascoe will kick this. There's no two bones about that. He's about 20 metres out from goal, DB, and shouldn't miss from there. Yeah,
and O'Brien in a bit of froth and bubble there at the moment. He went down to ground after Big Pascoe took that mark, and walking away from the area now, but tell you what, he's not moving all that well as Big Pascoe, the left footer. He's right in front. The goal umpire watches it sail over his loaf of bread. Another goal on the board for the legs. 9 goals, 256 on the halfway total scoreboard. The Eagles 4-4-28 and 4 goals to Norwood in this quarter after Pesh kicked the single goal for the Eagles.
And the ball about to come back to the centre, 9-2 to 4-4. Tobias coming on, and just looking who's going to come off, in fact. Leal off, Tobias on. So there's the move from the Eagles, and Leal had done a fair job on Sujai Cook. Sujai Cook hadn't had a lot of the football, but Mark Mickens seen fit to make a change there, and perhaps a bit more run from Tobias. The ball about to be bounced. 9-2 to 4-4 on the halfway hotel scoreboard. Biglan's up against Keating, gets it down towards Palfreyman, who was held, but the umpire allows play to go on, and the play doesn't go on very far before he calls for a bounce. And, gee, that was good play down there by O'Brien. He feigned to go for the ball. He basically just held the Eagles at bay and allowed Pascoe to chip in and take a mark very, very easily. OK, the ball set down again. Wiggins back in ruck now, but Keating gets the tap down to the front. McClure hacks a quick kick out of the centre towards Pyman. Burton now running onto the ball. As most other players, it gets past. Burton does a left foot kick to no one. Scotty Doreen runs onto that. Burton chases him, but Doreen sidesteps him with ease. Gee, that's a long raking kick. Goes down past centre wing. Harvey knocks it away from Euskis towards Coble, who gets the ball. Flips it back into play. There's no Eagles there, though. Keating tries to crash his way through. He's wrapped up, and there'll be a bounce on the centre wing of the Norwood Oval. A beautiful day it's turned out. We had some rain through the reserves just before half-time. Still a few clouds about, but at this stage, the sun shining brightly on the Norwood Oval.
And if anything, the breeze favouring the end towards the Redlegs are kicking at the moment. The windsocket blowing out towards the outer side of the ground, but I did notice that last kick at Doreen's went a long way, and would suggest, if anything, the breeze favouring the northern end. Right, the boundary umpire throws it back into play. Keating takes front position, taps it over the back. It's all Redlegs. Cook with sheer speed, gaps a footy, goes with a long kick there. He's looking out for Downsborough, who's in front. And Downsborough takes the mark in front of Rogers, and Downsborough's going to go back. He's got Guernseys loose everywhere, but it's too late now. The players have been picked up, and Ian Downsborough's going to have a shot for goal. And judging by the noise in the coach's box here, Downsborough would want to kick this one.
Yeah, a few players on, I think the coaches believed.
Downsborough reckons he can kick it. I'll tell you what, have a look at that. He knew what he was doing, and it's gone through for a sausage roll. Another one of the legs. 10 goals to 62. The Eagles 4-4-28 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. And that was as a result of Keating tapping the ball over the back and Sajai Cook with tremendous speed away from the blocks. And his kick found Downsborough, who put a long one through. So danger signs there for the Eagles, Jamie Braidwood.
And this quarter, Norwood have added 5 goals straight, and the Eagles have managed to add 1-1. So Norwood have put the pedal to the metal here and really burnt the Eagles off at this stage. It's up to the Eagles to come back, but it's a big job to do. The ball set down again. Wiggins comes towards Keating. Keating gets the knock, though, and slaps it forward. It goes past a whole lot of players. Adam Eustace, it doesn't go past. He wins the hard ball, gives it over to Carslake, on to Harvey, and running onto the ball out wide is Harvey. He gets it now, flips it back in. Downsborough slips over. Gee, could have been taken high in there. It goes out towards Pesh, who fends a couple off, squeezes it out with the left foot, but only as far as Sajai Cook, and he's marked it inside 50. In fact, he will kick from just on the 50-metre line here at the Norwood Oval, and the Eagles under extreme pressure, whereas Norwood's run is just insurmountable at this stage.
So Sajai Cook now will kick from just inside the 50. Got under the ball, will put it in towards the square. It'll be the big flyer. Pumped away at the back by Andrew Rogers and through for the minor score to the legs. 10-3-63 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Eagles on 4-4-28. And just at the moment, everything going right for the Redlegs. And the Eagles' season at the moment, they're looking down the barrel. They've got to do something. They've got to get the next couple of goals to stay in this footy match. Rogers comes straight down the centre. Up they fly. It's in front. A good, strong mark there.
Fruin.
And was Fruin. And by gee, there was a bit of pressure all round him. Fainted to play on. The umpire said he only moved the hand, so he's allowed to go back and take the kick. Got a player out loose there. That's Palfreyman. Palfreyman at a half back now. On the left boot, he'll centre it. Kluzak up one hand, if you don't mind. And comes back onto the right boot. He goes now towards centre half forward. Up in front, it's going to be a mark to beat Keating. And Norwood doing all the right things at the moment. Keating went to go off the mark. And then the umpire calls play on as he gets a handball over to Pitt. Pitt now will go out towards centre wing. No one home for either side. In fact, it wasn't a good kick and it's gone out of bounds. Centre wing on the outer side of the ground.
And Brett Burton wasn't very happy there. He was held back by Bowman, and that allowed Keating to take a mark unopposed. And Burton complaining to the umpire, but the umpire wouldn't have any of it.
Yeah, 13 minutes to go on, and this is the second quarter, and the Redlegs have kicked 5 as the ball is taken off hands by Pesh. Now Pesh in towards full forward, the kick in front, good mark. And that was our man Rhett Biglands in front to take the mark for the Eagles. And they've certainly got a bit of height, the Eagles, in their forward line, and chopping and changing with Biglands and also Wiggins.
Biglands is going to be a very good player, DB, providing he just gets that bit more experience and just matures a bit as a footballer, as you would expect.
Here's a kick, high kick, but he's tried to kick it too far, in fact, and comes off the side of the boot and through for the minor score. The Eagles are 4-5-29 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Redlegs are 10-3-63.
Scotty Doreen's got the ball, and what better man to have the football? He's a beautiful kick, Doreen. He's looking at his options now. Got a couple of players on short, but he's going to go to the big timber, I think. Look out there for Keating, and why not? He's played a terrific game, Big Aaron Keating. He gets in front again. Biglands over the top, comes to ground. Guess who? On the ball, Cunningham. On to Harvey from Carslake, and Norwood's. Those 3 players have just run terrifically. Back into McIntosh. McIntosh bombs it down towards full forward. Big Pascoe at the back. It's touched off hands and goes through for a point. Pascoe worked Andrew Rogers under the football and just couldn't quite hang on to the mark, and it's gone through for a behind. Norwood go to 10 goals, 4-64. The Eagles 4 goals, 5-29, and Rogers to kick it. He's got Pace loose out on the flank and finds Pace. Macca's going to have a spell. McIntosh coming off the field to a good reception, and young Scotty Borlase, and he'll add a bit more pace, which will be a worry to the Eagles as well. Now, it's a 50-metre or 25-metre penalty here, is it, against Pascoe? This brings Pays out to the 50. Andrew Pays will be looking down towards Big Wiggins, who's called for the ball. He's led strongly, drops short of him. Harvey in front, has it fisted away by Huskis. Kluzak thumps the ball through the pack onto Fruin, who slowly runs after it, but gets it it on towards Zilla. Oh, Wiggins tries to put a hand in there. That just puts Zilla off. It comes back towards Wiggins. He's playing basketball at the moment, trying to pat the ball down. It goes to Obbs, who kicks it back into the middle, pays it in the centre's Pash. Downsborough knocks it away from him. Cluzak goes in very hard. So does Clement. So does McClure. It's got a bit willing in there, and the umpire says, "I'll have it, fellas." And, gee, Brent Fruin looked in slow motion there. He was trying to pick the ball up and managed to get it on, but a couple of errors by the Eagles, and that's what pressure does to you, and Norwood certainly applied a lot of that today. The umpire about to bounce the ball right on centre wing. Norwood holding a commanding 35-point lead at this stage. Down it goes. Keating gets in front of Wiggins. Wiggins gets the knock, though, to no one in particular. McClure, a clever little knock onto Pesh, who chips it inside 50. He's got Burton down there. He's shoved out of the way, though. Legally, I might add, and Fleming just too strong. Out to Carslake. He's run ragged this quarter. Colville has to tighten up on him. Norwood running to Bowman, on to Clements. He's got Pitt loose, and Pitt will be able to run this right up to the 50-metre line. Decides to kick. He's got O'Brien on the lead, and that, DB, is champagne football.
No doubt about it. They have the loose players out there on the outer side of the ground. We've seen that plenty of times before in footy teams, but they haven't been able to finish it off. But today the Redlegs are finishing it off, and that was a beautiful pass from Stephen Pitt onto the chest of O'Brien, who just got that yard of pace that he can accelerate at the last minute, and he's lining up for his 4th goal. He kicked from about 48, so it's going to be a fair Moby Dick, I might tell you, but he is a beautiful kicker of the footy. He'll kick from right, in fact, about 52 metres, a big, strong kick, but away to the right for the minor score. 10-5-65 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Eagles are 4-5-29, and we're almost into time on in this, the second quarter.
OK, Rogers now kicking in. He's a lovely kick as well, Andrew Rogers. He's gone outside 50. It went over the head of all players, though. Obster's running onto the ball. In fact, it's Huskis. He goes back in the middle. The ball ace just on. Trapped on his left foot, but gets a nice kick forward. But Rintoul's in the way, right up against the point post. And Chad Rintoul, a bit of an awkward kick back here. You really don't get a lot of room when you mark the ball there. But Rintoul's quite a nice kick, and he manages to kick it outside 50. Out there, Harvey. Wiggins finishes up roving the ball. He wouldn't have done that too often. A fairly average handball towards Downsborough, who's held without the ball. Pesh works his way through, but the handball misses Palfreyman. Comes back to ball ace, onto Harvey, onto Huskis. Tries to crash his way through. It goes on a lovely little tap onto Neil. Neil's just offline, and gee, that was good work down there. Was that O'Brien again? That was good thinking down there, as he realised if he took the ball, he'd be tackled. So he patted it onto Robbie Neil, but Robbie Neil on the left foot has just been off beam. So Norwood 10 goals, 666, doing all the scoring here. The Eagles 4-5-29 as Andrew Rogers about to bring the ball back into play.
Yeah, 10-6-66 is amazing. A number of times that comes up on the scoreboard. Of course, that was the Battle of Hastings, JB, 10-66, long time ago. The ball is kicked out towards centre wing, and the mark taken there by Stephen Pitt for the Redlegs. He's called to play on now by the umpire. Goes to ground with the footy. That's got to be holding the ball.
Has to be holding the ball, doesn't it?
No, he's paid it the other way. Well, I'm not sure what went on there, because he called play on, and Pitt was grabbed with the ball. He had ample opportunity to get rid of it, and somehow or other he's emerged with the footy. Don't ask me how or why, but he's got it, and he's at centre wing on the outer side of the ground. There's the kick along that centre wing. Up they fly. Big Pascoe in front. Gee whiz, they shoved him from behind, but they pushed him into the footy, and the big arms of Andrew Pascoe went up, and he's got the footy from the kick from about 65. It's a big kick going in towards centre half forward. Up they fly, making front position was Neil. Offhand, Colville's there. Going in hard there also was the ball ace. Comes out towards Pesh, though. Pesh with a handball inboard. He's got there Tobias. Michael Tobias on the left boot. And luck's a fortune, because it's fallen into the arms of Robert Pyman, who'll kick between half-back and centre wing on the outer side of the ground for the Eagles. They're in dire straits at the moment as he kicks it along that centre wing. Players will set themselves. Oh, Burton, he had 2 Norwood players in front of him, but pushed his way to the front, took the mark. The handball now to Higgins. Higgins now for the Eagles. Goes to the lead of McClure. Should have marked that. Palfreyman kicks it off the ground. He's still got it on the left boot, though. He comes in here, but it's all the Eagles. No, there's a free kick. What's happened here? There's a free kick going.
Now, Palfreyman was pushed after he actually kicked the ball, DB, and he's going to pay it downfield, I believe. Now, that's a funny one, because he's indicated in the back. Doesn't that have to go back to the player who was pushed in the back?
I know. I've got the umpires alongside of me. It was an interesting one. Just wait on that. The umpire indicated it was a push in the back. And
meanwhile, Zilla's got the ball about, 25 metres out.
Yeah, well, anyway, Zilla's ended up with the footy. It wasn't actually, he didn't indicate it was an FAD. He said it was a push in the back, but Zilla's kick has gone across the face of goal for a minor score. So really the Eagles don't want to win this one, because that was a gimme. He was only about 25 metres out, right in front. and he's put it across the face for the minor score. So the Eagles now into time on in this second quarter, 4 goals, 6:30. Norwood at 10-6-66 now as the kick now from Fleming towards the back pocket. Pitt makes position out there and takes the mark for Norwood. Pitt will deliver the ball alongside, along that outer side flank. Up they go in front. Bowman took the mark, then was met heavily from behind, and the umpire said, take the kick, Lockie Bowman. So Bowman now in the true half-back position on the outer side. Will kick along centre wing. He's got to move there from Carslake. Ignores that and goes long across centre wing, up in front, down for the ball thumped away. Ends up with Palfreyman for the Eagles. Around the body he goes. Not a good kick. Davey will pick it up. The handball inboard comes to Doreen. Doreen's long handball to Pascoe. Pascoe's got off all by himself. No one within kiwi of him. He has a bounce. He'll come onto the left boot. Uses his pace. He goes with a little left footer here. There's Norwood players everywhere. And the mark taken by Adam Huskis just inside the 50-metre area for the Redlegs. He calls play on and goes in towards full forward. The big men will fly here, up through the hands of the packer, went through Robbie Neal's hands. The Eagles player's gone to the ground with the ball underneath him, and we'll have a bounce down as Zilla comes off, and be replaced by Corey Lambert. But a golden opportunity gone begging there for the Redlegs, Jamie Braidwood.
Yeah, certainly was, and it looked like it was going to be a mark down there. Now the umpire bounces the ball. There's still a big chance to score, though. O'Brien reaches over the top and gets the tap. It goes to no one, really. Comes out wide now towards Pay. Swooping on the ball, though, Sujai Cook. He's had a kick back over his shoulder. It's right across the face, but it's found King, and King's been paid the mark, and why not? He marked it cleanly. Against the... In fact, is it Robbie Neal down there, DB, is it? I thought it was King, but no, I think you're right. Yeah, it's Robbie Neal, and gee, he's proved a real thorn in the Eagles side today, and lining up from an acute angle for his third goal. Robbie Neal, he'll probably just break out to the right here to open up the goal face. And, gee, he's been a dangerous player. He screws it around, and I don't think he's had much problem with that. That's how you do it. You can't beat skill. He's kicked it around the corner, and it's a magnificent goal. And they go to 11 goals, 6 Norwood. They're killing the Eagles here, to be honest. The Eagles 4 goals, 6, and that's Robbie Neal's third goal. Today, let's go back to Peter Greco and get some scores.
It's Port Adelaide 9-11-65 leading North 3 straight 18. Sturt 3-6-24 leading Centrals 2-7-19, and West 5-4-34 leading Glenelg 5-1-31. Back to Norwood.
Thank you, Peter. And of course it's half time over there at the MCG, and from memory I think Melbourne were leading clearly 9 goals 7 to about 4 goals 3 as the ball is in the centre, taken there by Sajai Cook. He's immediately tackled, comes to Pesh. Now Pesh's hurried kick there. Ball Ace will lead in the race for the ball for the Redlegs. In goes little Gavin Colwell with the ball underneath the pack of players for a bounce down centre wing on the outer side of the ground. So Norwood now really opened up a big break here, 11-6-72. The Eagles 4-6-30. We've played 25 minutes of this game and the second quarter on the key home loan time clock. And the Eagles looking down the barrel as a kick from Pesh up towards half forward, but in front Bowman takes the mark. And Bowman in front there of his immediate opponent there in Bigland. Gets a handball over to Davey. Todd Davey now onto the right boot. Away go the Redlegs again up towards full forward. At the back, Neal almost the mark. Has he been paid? He has on the second grab. And Chad Rentoul giving away a height advantage there to Robbie Neal, who's already booted 3, and he's lining up for number 4 now. And he's only about, 30 metres out, if that 25. And the way he's been kicking Jamie Braidwood, you'd put this one down on the paper.
Yes, he's played terrifically today, Robbie Neal. He's played as an opportunist forward should. He's chipped in when he's had to. And he should have no problem with this. He kicks right through the ball. The goal umpire doesn't move very much. He says that's okay. And Norwood go along to 12 goals 6 on the halfway hotel scoreboard. And that, of course, is 12 goals 6, 78, leading the Eagles a paltry 4 goals 6, 30. And the Eagles are stagnant at the moment, DB. There's no movement at all, and I'd say they're in for a rocket at half-time.
Yes, and with so much at stake, they are a funny side, the Eagles, I've got to say that. There's certainly talent out there, but just at the moment, they just can't seem to gel, and they're allowing the Norwood players to dictate the terms here. And if you look at the scoreboard, on the halfway hotel scoreboard, it tells the tale. A sad tale for the Eagles. It's 12-6-78. The Eagles are just 4-6-30, so a 48-point lead to the Redlegs. Down goes the bounce, up they go. Big Pascoe got the tap to Cunningham, but in goes Pesh again. He's trying hard, flung to the ground with the footy. And just as he hits the deck, the ball spills free, and we'll have a bounce down in the centre once again. We've played 26.5 minutes in this second quarter, and Norwood doing it well. Down goes the bounce. Up they go. In front, Wiggins was there, but the ball comes back toward Pesh. Onto the right boot it goes. Up toward 10.5 forward. Anything going on there. The ball taken by Pitt. There's loose players everywhere for Norwood, and the handball ended up with Doreen. Doreen up towards half forward. Huskus tried to work his way to the front. Chance for Harvey. Harvey for the Eagles, though, goes inboard, and there's about 4 Eagles players there, taken by Rintoul. That was Pesh, in fact. Gave it to Lambert. The handball was missed there by McClure. In goes Harley. Harley gets the handball to Obst. No, it wasn't Obst. It was Ball 8. Ends up with Obst. Obst with a handball further back to Doreen. Doreen over to Cunningham. Back to Doreen. Doreen will go over now towards Harvey. That's Harvey for Norwood. As the ball goes to ground, in goes Huskus. Huskus with a handball to Carslake. Carslake will get a handball further back to Clements, but he put him under the hammer. Ends up there with the players going down like 9 pins. It's kicked up by Carslake. Carslake's got 2 Norwood players in the pocket, and one of those is Doreen, and Doreen takes the mark. Gee whiz, a number of errors there, and Norwood very lucky to get out of it, but they have.
And Norwood managed to just have a loose player every time, one more player to handball the ball onto. The Eagles, I think, laid about 7 or 8 tackles there, but Norwood just running in numbers all over the field, and they managed to have someone to give it to all the time, and it's finished up with Scotty Doreen, and Doreen only about 25 metres out from goal. Moves in, kicks through the ball. Oh, he might have missed that one. Not sure. The umpire's run a long way across, and he has. He's just missed it there to the right-hand side. And if anyone you'd put your money on to be kicking a goal, it'd be Scotty Doreen, because he's such a lovely kick of the football. Having said that, he wouldn't have had a lot of shots for goal this year, having played a lot across half-back. Rogers in short to Pays, and Pays marks the ball. Gee, plays on. Hasn't got a lot on either. He finishes up. He's got a handball to the boundary line. Well, that's how the Eagles are going. Rogers kicked it to Pays. Pays not a long kick. And his best he could do was get it out of bounds. So the Eagles, a bit of a rabble at the moment, trailing 4 goals 6 to 12 goals 7. And it's just the pressure that Norwood have applied. And they've stepped up a cog here, Norwood, in a game that they feel they obviously must win today to hang on to that top 3 position. The ball thrown in. Neil goes up, tries to fist it forward, only as far as Rogers, who gets it to Hodgson. His kick smothered by Harley. Harley back in board there to Borlase, who's really tackled without the footy. Yeah, Borlase never really took possession of that ball. He pushed the ball on in front of him, and the Eagle player, Palfreyman, went through with the actual tackle, and Borlase has got a free. Now, he's about 50 metres out from goal. It'll be hard-pressed to score from here, you'd say. Certainly the Eagle score won't change. It'll be 4 goals 6 at half-time, 30. And Borlase now moves in. It's a fairly long kick. It's either just a point or just out of bounds. In fact, it's out of bounds on the full. So that's the score on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard at half-time here at the Norwood Parade Oval. Norwood 12 goals 7, 79, leading the Eagles 4 goals 6, 30. And in that quarter, Norwood have blown the game apart, kicking 7 goals 5 to the Eagles 1 goal 3. Goal kickers DB to half-time. Yeah,
Robrin, the man and his football. Go and grab a video of that. It is a magnificent tribute to a magnificent footballer. That's the SA Video Warehouse at Weymouth Street in the city. The umpire with the footy about to start the 3rd term here at the parade. Down goes the footy. Up they go. Wiggins in front. Taps the ball straight to Higgins. Higgins with a handball to Pesh. Pesh straight over to McClure, to Tobias. Tobias goes in towards the pocket, but he didn't finish it off because it's a poor kick in towards the pocket. Didn't really give Pyman any opportunity to get to the footy, and that's been their problem thus far, JB.
And that's what happens when you haven't got a natural full forward leading straight down the ground. You've got your players like Pyman and also Kluzek, who are natural flankers, leading out to their natural position, and the Eagles go there.
Exactly, and now, of course, it's out of bounds in that right full forward pocket. There's the throw-in. Keating tries to make front position with Wiggins. The ball over the back. Pesh is there. Picks it up. Gets a handball over the top there. He's looking for Page. Page got up into the air, grabbed the footy, kicked it around the body in towards full forward, but Pitt just barged his way to the front without hardly any opposition to take the mark for the Redlegs. He'll bring it to the grandstand side. There's 2 on 3 here in favour of the Redlegs. The ball comes to ground. Davey went to feint the handball over to Clements, but then retained the footy himself. Now he'll go over the top to Clements. Clements with the ball at centre wing. Norwood now. They go forward in towards the lead of O'Brien, who's caught at the back, almost marked the footy. It comes to ground. Harley went to pick it up. He went to ground. The handball comes out. A chance for Holland. Playing the ball in front of him, but it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds, just outside the attacking 50 of the Redlegs. They're kicking to the parade end, and they hold a commanding 49-point lead, 12-7-79 to 4-6-30 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. Boundary umpire about to throw the ball back into play. Up they go over the back. Downsborough was in there trying to get the footy. Came to Harley. He couldn't take it cleanly. Burton for the Eagles tried to do it. Downsborough's got it. In goes Palfreyman. They've got him though. Down he goes to the ground with the ball ball underneath him, and we'll have a bounce down on the right half forward flank, grandstand side. That's the end towards the parade end, the end to which the Redlegs are kicking.
And we've played 1.5 minutes into the third quarter here at the Norwood Oval, bathed in sunshine. The ball goes down. Burton rucking now. He goes up, gets the tap, but can only see it over the line and out of bounds before Nigel Palfreyman can run onto the ball. So the umpire about to throw it in. It's been stuck out on this flank for about the last 60 seconds and has either been a bounce or a throw-in. Now in ruck. This time we've got Downsborough contesting the ruck. Burton reaches over the top, gets the knock. It goes forward only as far as Huskus, who gathers it beautifully to Carslake. Gee, he's run well, Carslake. The kick smothered by Fruin. Still goes, though, to Norwood's advantage to Obst, who runs onto the right foot. Has a pot shot at the goal from about 45 metres out, but can't bring it back. And he's offline with a point, Obst. And, gee, he's played a terrific game out there on that centre wing, Damien Obst. He's been a real thorn in the Eagles' side. And Norwood move along to 12-8 to the Eagles 4-6 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Halfway Hotel on Port Road. I presume it's halfway between Adelaide and Port Adelaide. And Liz Cale, the gaming manager there. The ball kicked in now. It goes down towards Higgins. Higgins can't take the ball, but knocks it out in favour of Tobias, who sweeps onto it. Looks to handball. Pesh says, kick it yourself. He goes downfield. Bowman's in the way again. He maybe paid the mark. No, the umpire said play on. Surely no one else touched it. Everyone jumps on the footy, and Bowman's been pinged holding the ball. Well, he's showing the umpire that I took a clean mark there, umpire. It goes to Colville anyway. Play goes on. He's got Biglands, who's drifted off. Should have marked that ball. Couldn't hold it, though. It spills out there towards McClure. McClure's been tackled there by Keating, who knocks it out towards Davey. He's one tough hombre, is Todd Davey. Everyone overruns the ball now. Pyman's in there. Stacks on the mill. The umpire may call for another bounce. Yes, he does. Well, gee, Lockie Bowman said, what do I got to do to be paid a mark? I've gone up, had first grab, grabbed it again, and then to rub salt into the wound, we've got pinged holding the ball.
Yes, it was a pretty tough decision, but I thought the big chap should have marked it down there in Biglands. He had the drop on his opponent, but couldn't take it. Comes down to McClure. The hurry kicking towards goal. Will it go? It goes to the left-hand side. It was a leg break. Needed an off break to go through the high diddle. So they need goals, the Eagles, not behinds. 4 goals, 7-31 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. Norwood at 12-8-80.
And that one would have bowled Mike Gatting, wouldn't it, DB?
I reckon it would have. It spun about 12 yards.
Scotty Doreen.
Scotty Doreen in towards 10.5 back. Bowman up in front, off hands to McIntosh. He gets a hurried little left-footed kick away. Doesn't go very far. Goes in to try and pick it up again. In the bottom of the pack there, we have the player for the Eagles.
Rintoul.
Rintoul it was. And we're going to have a bounce down between centre wing and half forward on the outer side of the ground. There must be about 8 or 10 players around that footy at the moment. And of course the Eagles desperate to get some sausage rolls on the board as they're looking down the barrel here. 4-7-31. Norwood at 12-8-80, just starting the third quarter. This is the quarter they've got to come back, the Eagles. Up they go. The ball tapped away by Keating. He's certainly been the dominant big man. There's no doubt about that. At the bottom of the pack, it looks like Fruin. Or is it Hodgson? No, Fruin it is, and they've got him, and they go to ground, and we've got a bounce down once again. Centre wing on the outer side of the ground. And
Burton's gone to centre half back here, DB, and playing on Ian Downsborough, so that'll be a position totally foreign to Brett Burton.
Yes, well, it's not wrong. There's the tap away. A chance now for the player to pick up the ball in Pesh. He does it well, comes away onto the right foot, gets a little handball. A handball from Tobias is over towards Page. Page at centre wing. It's a shocking kick. Bowman's in the way. It actually ran along the ground. Bowman's left foot kick doesn't go very far, but makes plenty of height off the hands of the pack. Beautifully taken there. It looked like Clements. Clements with a handball over to Cunningham. Cunningham will run in towards the goal. He dodges around the long handball over the top. Here's a chance for Neil into the open goal. He's missed. Just at the moment he got the kick away, he got poleaxed. And Burton absolutely poleaxed him. He went down like a sack of spuds, and the umpire said, come back and have another shot at goal, son. And I must admit, I was watching the ball off the boot, and he was hit by Burton, and the umpire's going to give Neil another kick at goal. And
I think, DB, Robbie Neal said, I'll have the ball, I'll have the one that's already gone through for a goal. I don't think he got to see the kick.
No, I don't think either, but now he's going to line up from about 20 metres out. And what we've seen today of this man kicking for goal, he's already booted 4. He shouldn't have any trouble whatsoever with the accuracy. He runs in on the slightest of angles, kicks on its way. Gee whiz, I think he's missed. Just when you give a bloke a rap, he's put it through. Well, I'm amazed. I would have sworn that ball went through for a behind, but the goal umpire said it was a sausage roll. I've got to go and get the eyesight checked for sure and certain on Monday as Norwood move along to 13 goals, 8 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. And the Eagles are just 4 goals, 7 back to the studio.
Three-quarter time at the MCG, and it's Melbourne 16-9-105 leading Adelaide 7-8-50, and Central 7-9-51 leading Sturt 4-7-31. Back to Norwood.
And the ball about to be bounced in the centre. Yeah, I'm actually with you there, DB. I thought that went right over the post. But anyway, Norwood not only playing well, they've had a bit of Daffy Duck in that situation as well. Wiggins grabs it out of the ruck. It goes to Palfreyman, who's been quiet since quarter time. On to Pesh, the Eagles' best player. Links it on to Rintoul. This is what he's good at. Oh, it's a terrible kick, though. He runs through the 50-metre line, kicks it down there. Pitt's all by himself. How does that happen? And Pitt now comes away. Biglands closes in, but Pitt gets the kick. The way of Cunningham, ducks his head, still nearly takes the ball. Meanwhile, it comes to ground into Colville. Snatched away from him, though, by Carslake, who goes downfield, and it bounces over everyone's head but Brett Burton. He's struggling now to control it. He's got nowhere to go, and he has kicked the ball into the Norwood player and out over the line. The Norwood crowd thinking it was out on the full, but it ricocheted off big Aaron Keating and over the boundary line, and the boundary umpire just explaining that now to the field umpire, who I think also thought it was out of bounds on the full. Okay, the ball now almost on centre wing here. Norwood 13-8. The only goal this quarter has gone to Norwood. Boundary umpire having a bit of trouble getting the ball back. Nicky Pesh.
It's a new footy, actually.
It's a new footy. Is it? The other one's up on the roof, is it?
No, here it is now. It's been just thrown back.
We got two footies, but I think that's what the Eagles will need to get back into this game, DB. The ball thrown in. Burton rises high over the top of Downsborough. Doesn't matter, though. Cunningham runs onto the footy, floats the handball towards Harley. It's intercepted, though, and comes back to Pesh. Pesh goes with the left foot. A nice kick forward, looking for Jimmy McClure. Carslake, though, bursts on. His handling of the ball's terrific. He finds Bowman, who's been a rock of Gibraltar back there. He kicks it down towards Downsborough, drops the ball, might have lost it in the sun. Tommy Harley taken high there by Dutchy Holland, and the umpire right on the spot sees Harley. He wastes no time, plays on, finds Palfreyman. Palfreyman goes forward. This might have split it open now for the Eagles. It's on to Higgins. He goes down looking for Pyman, caught under the ball, again comes back onto the footy, tried to knock it out there to the advantage of Kluzek, but Clements and Fleming combine and take it away and kick it out to the outer centre wing. Find Cook. Cook onto Obst. Obst must have a sore leg. He's had a million kicks today. He kicks down forward there looking for Harley. Leal chips in front of him, though, and takes the ball over the boundary line. Well, a golden opportunity for the Eagles, but the kick a little bit high into that forward line for Robbie Pyman, and he couldn't control it. Went to ground, and that's a cardinal sin. When you go to ground, you can't have much control after that, and Norwood managed to whisk it away. It's down there towards the Norwood half-forward line. Downsborough goes up, misses the ball, hits him on the back, and finally comes down to Michael Tobias. He goes a long kick forward and finds Wiggins. A hard ball to mark, but Wiggins makes it look easy. The reason it's easy, it's out of bounds on the full. It's floated over the boundary line, and he had no opposition. So Norwood to bring this ball back into play from the half-back flank.
Looks like Clements from here.
Yeah, it's Troy Clements out there. He's got Pitt alone mid. It's like about 20 yards away, Stephen Pitt. That's the way he's going. This was on for 5 minutes, Pitt standing there. Mark Micken would be furious with that. Pitt marks the ball. He goes over there to Bowman. Now, Bowman kicks from one end of the square to the other, kicks it forward. Burton's under this, gets the chance to Muchy. Rintoul crashes back into the pack. Dutchy Holland grabs it. He's grabbed by the arm. They're still holding the ball for mine. The umpire says holding. In fact, the umpire says I'll have it. I'll have a bounce. Dutchy Holland grabbed by one arm, and DB, that's nearly the perfect tackle.
I would say so. That wasn't holding the ball. I've never seen it, but the umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt, and in my mind wasn't there, but he's going to bounce it anyway between centre and half forward. Down goes the bounce. Oh, the Downsborough was grabbed high, and he'll take the free kick in that bounce down. Infringing player there was Burton as it goes to McIntosh. McIntosh in towards full forward. The ball bounces through. I think it's going to go through. It has. Well, gee whiz, there were two players wrestling at the back of the square, and the ball went over the top and has rolled through for a sausage roll from McIntosh. That's his first goal, but more importantly, the Redlegs have booted the first two in this quarter, and I would say at this stage, JB, it's all over Red Rover as far as the Eagles are concerned.
Yes, I don't think the Eagles will be training much this week. I think she's over for a while, and they can have a bit of time off before they get into pre-season. But encouraging for Eagles supporters. They've had a fairly competitive season this year, and I think they've got a lot to look forward to with some good young boys that are learning the game. Blokes like Brett Burton at centre-half back today. He'll learn a lot back there, and also doing a bit of ruck. Down goes the ball. Keating gets the knock. Palfreyman knocks it forward. There's no one there. Todd Davey grabs the ball onto Bowman. He's one of Norwood's best players. He's been impassable back there. The ball goes wide to centre wing. Cunningham can't control it before the ball rolls over the line. Tobias coming off. Corey Lambert back on. Eagles have made a few changes today, but have failed to make any impact on the scoreboard. Most of the changes have been to no avail. The ball to be thrown back into play. Keating, who's rucked tirelessly today, works his way to the front of Wiggins. No one really gets the knock. Pesh grabs the ball, handballs it onto the voice. It was the voice of Harvey who gives it to Carslake. Carslake now racing in, but he's well offline, and he's just scraped it in for a point. It was a wobbly old kick by Scott Carslake there, but gee, that was very, very quick work in there by Norwood, and their hands and their skills by foot or hand has been terrific today. 14-9 they go on to on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Eagles 4 goals 7. Dutchy Holland kicks in, gets around O'Brien easily as he plays on. He goes long, but to Keating. Burton takes an absolute hanger. And Brett Burton, as you said earlier, DB, if he gets the opportunity, they set him up for one. He takes a screamer to use Big Keating as the stepladder. Goes forward, Pitt in the way. Kluzek tries to emulate Burton, can't hang on to it. It goes then to Davey, and Norwood with his brilliant defence through Fleming, and out wide Clements, and out even wider Davey. Work it out again. They take it through half-back. They've got players everywhere. Sujai Cook onto Obst. Clean handling of the football. Obst drills it in now to centre-half forward. There's a bit of jostling going on there, and ultimately the only bloke going for the ball was Brett Burton, and he marks it and kicks it out wide here, looking for Chad Rintoul. He plays on. There was no need to. He's put Harvey under pressure. Jared Harvey, that is. He manages to squeeze a handball out to Palfreyman onto Pesh. Pesh is knocked up getting kicks. He's tried very hard. Kicks it into the lead of Pyman. It's out in front of him, though. Taps the ball to his own advantage. Wasn't tackled. He thought he might have been. Goes on then to Higgins. Higgins gives it out to Lambert. This is Lambert's first kick. Into Pesh. Pesh can play on. He does. Gee, McIntosh closing. Pesh gets the ball on the boot, though, and it's just the right side of the post. And Nicky Pesh puts the ball through, and deservedly so, DB. He's had a good day, Nicky Pesh, and he's been a shining light in what's been pretty ordinary at this stage for the Eagles.
Yes, he's certainly been one of their better players, and there hadn't been a lot of them, but he can hold his head up high. Let's go back to the studio to see what's happening around the grounds.
Yes, it's Port Adelaide 10-11-71 leading North 5-1-31, West 7-5-47 leading Glenelg 5-1-31, and Central 7-11-53 leading Sturt 5-8-38. Back to Norwood.
Bounce down in the centre, and there's going to be a free kick paid. Someone's in the square. It's a free kick to the Eagles. Wiggins feeds it off to Rintoul, who can't really break away. Gets it back to Lambert, back to Rintoul in the old 1-2. Rintoul with a high kick, right down almost a full forward. Pyman goes in hard, but Doreen, who's played a very solid game back there, wastes no time and plays on. Gives it out to Sujai Cook. He's got space here, and he's racing away out through centre wing. Kicks it down towards the half-forward flank. Downsborough behind. Burton misses the mark. It comes towards Neil opposed to Rogers. They tap it out. Cunningham somehow wins the ball through there and runs into goal, but it's just off to the right. And, gee, John Cunningham keeps his balance beautifully, and he's got such wonderful skills. One wonders why he only played one AFL League game.
Yeah, that's a big query, that one, isn't it? But very important player back in the Norwood side is Cunningham with the finals coming up. He's got pace to burn, and as you say, his skills all over are very, 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 very good.
OK, the ball about to be brought back in. Dutchy Holland, surprise fellow kicking in, the designated kicker, as is the term. And he's going to find Nicky Pesh. Pesh about 12 metres out from goal, breaks around. Holland then comes out and shepherds O'Brien, who upended him in no uncertain terms. Meanwhile, Pesh gets the ball on to Lambert, who's held up by Keating. And the ball's about 50 metres out from Norwood goals. Lambert cuts back into the middle. Holland providing a bit of run now. Comes through the centre square. He has one bounce, then comes back in towards centre half forward with a long kick. Kluzek's up very high. Couldn't hold the mark, though. The ball comes out to Jimmy McClure. This is going to go close. He's bent it around, but just the wrong side of the post. And I'd say when it comes 5 o'clock and this game's over, Jimmy McClure will go and find an axe and saw that post down, because he's been just the wrong side of it all day. Doreen kicks the ball in. Eagles 5 goals 8. Fairly ordinary score at this stage. Norwood 14 goals 10, and a player that's had a terrific game has marked it across half back in Stephen Pitt for the legs. Now Pitt a bit undecided what he's going to do with the ball now. He kicks it down towards the centre wing. Palfreyman under it in front of Keating. The ball held up there, and Keating couldn't quite get to the contest, and Palfreyman was able to chip in and take the mark. Palfreyman about 75 metres out from the Eagles' goal. Goes out wide. He's got Robbie Pyman out there. He drops the mark, and the ball goes over the boundary line. He was backing back Pyman. Probably still should have held the mark, but couldn't hang on, and the ball goes out of bounds about 35 metres around from the Eagles' goal.
Yeah, that's been the story all day as far as the Eagles are concerned, because it really should have marked that Robbie Pyman. really no pressure, and it's resulted in a boundary throw-in. Right, there comes Wiggins, tried to kick it off the ground. In goes Keating. Keating with a handball to Wobb, came astray, ended up with Lambert. Lambert on the left boot, hurried kicking toward 10.5 back. Pitt was there, got the handball out to Keating. Keating tries to burst his way through. The ball drops to ground. In goes the Norwood player. Up comes McClure with the foot. He dodges one way, then the other. On the left boot, it goes in towards the square. It's all Norwood back there, and up all those. Also there was Kluzak, but the ball thumped through for the minor score. So the Eagles 5-9-39, Norwood 14-10-94. We've played about 11 minutes on the Key Homes loan time clock.
And of course, big Aaron Keating was like a big oak tree there, trying to crash his way through, and they were all hanging off him.
They certainly were, as the kick comes into McIntosh. Macca at the true centre half-back position. He'll go onto the left boot, that famous left boot of his as he goes out towards centre wing. Big Keating got the leads in the race for the ball. He's got about 3 or 4 yards in front of his opponent. Had trouble picking it up, but then gave Todd Davey the worst handball you've ever seen. He had trouble picking it up, but got it back out to Downsborough. Downsborough now to Cunningham. Cunningham hooks the ball around the body, looking for O'Brien. The ball thumped away, though, by Fruin towards the boundary line. It should be a free kick, really, to Fruin, because O'Brien dealt with him harshly after he got rid of the footy, and that's the way the free kick will go. Back here to Brett Fruin on the last line of defence for the Eagles. This game, of course, being brought to you by In-Flight Travel of 29A Unley Road and the Licensed Clubs Association. Now, Fruin comes across the face of goal. He gives it to Hodgson. Hodgson's got Rintoul loose here at half-back, but he elects to go straight down the centre. And, in fact, it's a shocking option because he's put it straight down the throat of McIntosh, who's going to put it back from whence it came. In towards full forward. Up they fly. The ball to ground. It's all Norwood here. In there is Robbie Neal. He grabbed the ball but was being held on to. Went to ground with the ball underneath him and will have a bounce down. Well, fair dinkum. Hodgson, he had Rintoul loose, but he went to centre half-back and right down the throat of McIntosh.
And Scotty Borley's back on for the legs, and Stephen Pitt having a spell.
Down goes the bounce. Downsborough, over the back comes Neal. The ball in towards the goal square, picked up by Harvey. He'll run into the open goal. Bang, through it goes. Norwood 15-10, 100. There's the 100 on the board. The Eagles 5-9-39. Jamie Braidwood, it's curtains.
Yeah, the Eagles having a real hammering. Wrap the chicken, DB. I think it's time, because there's no future in this game for the Eagles, with Harvey doing it easily there, streaking into the open goal.
I think you can wrap the Eagles. That's right.
The Legs now lead by 10 goals won, and we have played 18 minutes on the Key home loan time clock, and the bumper are about to put the air conveyance back into the air. Now, who's in ruck for the Eagles? Wiggins back in ruck. Keating's rucked all day and rucked tirelessly. He's done a top job. Gets another tap out towards Obbs. Guess who? John Cunningham, though, swoops on the ball in front of them. Kicks it out towards Harley. There's a race on now. Foot race between Harley and Fruin. Harley handballs back inside to Downsborough. He turned like a Mack truck there, Downsborough, and then gave it straight off to Palfreyman. And Palfreyman chips it short and finds Biglands well down from centre half forward, in fact, on centre wing. On to Higgins, providing a bit of run. Higgins goes into the true centre half forward position. No one really goes for the ball in the end. Davey flips it off. Out there looking for Adam Huskis, who's running onto the ball. Colville mows him down. Huskis puts it out of bounds, and Colville calling for deliberate out of bounds. The umpire will have none of that, and the boundary umpire's about to throw it in about 35 metres around from the Eagles' goal. And do they need a goal or two at this stage? Okay, here we go.
10 of them.
Yes, the ball being thrown in. Keating and Wiggins. Wiggins tries to flip it over to the back. There's no one there for the Eagles. Keating finishes up roving the ball. He's trying to tear away with it. McClure tears away with it, but in the meantime, the umpire's called for a bounce. And, Aaron Keating's staking a bit of a claim, if anything happens to the Crows' big men, DB, to force his way back into that side at this late stage of the season.
Done a magnificent job today.
Yes, he goes for the knock now out wide, only as far as Pesh, who chips it around the corner. He's offline, though. The umpire goes galloping away to his left, and Nicky Pesh has slotted it through for a behind, and that makes it nice and neat and tidy on the scoreboard. A neat 10-goal deficit here to the Eagles. Norwood 15-10-100, the Eagles 5-10-40, and we're eking towards time on in the third quarter. There's the kick out. Rintoul flies, and he takes a solid mark about 55 metres out from the Eagles' goal. He's got Pyman on way down there in the goal square calling for the footy, but Chad Rintoul fancies his chances here. He goes back with a long drop punt. It is a magnificent kick of the football. It's going to land about 2 metres out, and in the end, Wiggins competes down there with big Keating, and that's what I've been impressed about with Keating's game today, DB, the way that he's got back to help the Norwood backman out as the Eagles put another point on the board. Yes,
his defensive work has been very, very good in addition to his overall work around the ground. As the kick now from Doreen toward that outer side half-back flank. It's all the Redlegs there. The mark taken there by Fleming. The handball was like lightning to Harvey. Harvey's had a bounce. He's had 2 bounces. He's going to get caught, or is it Cunningham? I think it's Cunningham, actually. He's had 3 bounces, gets the ball onto the boot, up towards full forward. In front was Neil, over the back, Kent for ball 8. No, he can't pick it up. Through comes Fruin, uses his body, will bust the pack and then kicks the ball to the boundary line, the safety of the boundary line, and it's out of bounds in that right full forward pocket for the legs.
And Pascoe on, Keating having a spell as well, so Peter Road using his bench now to rest a couple of his players, Pitt and also Keating, for another burst in the last quarter. And meanwhile, Higgins comes off for the Eagles, and on comes Michael Tobias.
There's the throw-in taken out of the air there by Downsborough. He got the handball away, but didn't go to anyone in particular. Picked up by Rintoul. They've got him. In fact, it was Harvey for the Eagles. He goes over the boundary line, and another throw-in on exactly the same spot. The previous throw-in was taken. And Peter Road just shouting a few things there to big Pascoe out of the coach's box as the ball is thrown in. On the bottom of the pack is ball 8, he goes to ground. In Carslake, he goes to ground also. Out in front there was Tobias, taken by Pesh. Pesh's handball to Palfreyman. Palfreyman caught without the footy, taken there by Colville. He gave it over to Harvey. Harvey's handball went to no one in particular. Burton's got it, they've got him. The tackling is ferocious by the legs as it ends up here with Clement. Clement from about 40 metres out goes bang and drills it straight through the high diddle. 16-10, 106 the Redlegs, the Eagles 5-11-41 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. Back to the studio.
Yes, it's Melbourne 16-11, 107, leading Adelaide 7-10, 52. Port 10-13-73, leading North 6-1-37. West 7-7-49, leading Glenelg 6-3-39. And Central's 7-13-55, leading Sturt 7-9-51. Back to Norwood.
And Troy Clements finishing off some good persistent work there by Norwood. Down goes the bounce. Biglands gets the tap down to Colville. Can't quite get it away. Now it comes out towards Corey Lambert, but the stack's on the mill in there. And a couple of players a little bit slow to get up, namely Corey Lambert, one of them, who was taken fairly high in that clash down there. Now he's okay, Corey Lambert, and just gets up, dust himself off and ready to get on with the action. The umpire about to bounce the ball. Pascoe in ruck, Keating off at the moment. And the ball favours Pascoe. He gets the knock back into play, back towards Clements, who was Norwood's last goal scorer. But Lambert wraps him up, and the umpire is going to call for another bounce. So in this quarter, Norwood have added 3 goals. The Eagles have added 1. So they're doing it in 4 goals, Norwood have added, and the Eagles doing it in 1s at this stage, making pretty hard work of it. OK, Lambert gets what was a pretty ordinary bounce down. Lambert gets the tap onto Harvey. He's been running around loose all day along with Cunningham. He goes out wide there towards Neil. Burton applies a good tackle. The ball spills out towards Andrew Rogers, who's wrapped up by Downsborough. Norwood supporters here calling for holding the ball, but that's very parochial, and the ball spills over the boundary line. But gee, Norwood's tackling's been ferocious today, and they have not let the Eagles set anything up. The Eagles, renowned for their running players through midfield, have been under pressure, and that's indicated on the scoreboard as well at this stage. 55 metres out from the Norwood goal. The ball thrown back into play. Downsborough makes front position. Another set play into Cook. Cook doesn't even look at the goals. He has a pot shot down there. Hodgson falls over, and who would be there? Christian O'Brien takes the mark about 3 or 4 metres out from goal. A pretty tough angle there for a right footer, but gee, Norwood have got that. It's a set play, no doubt, DB, the way they flip it back into the middle, and there's 2 or 3 players waiting to pounce on it every time. And
it has worked most times today for them as well. And as you say, the kick to O'Brien, and just at the crucial moment, Hodgson went to ground, and O'Brien with the check side has drilled it straight through the high diddle, no doubt about that. A beautiful check side kick. He knew what he was doing, O'Brien, and that's his 4th goal. So he's certainly been a contributor up forward for the Redlegs. And we're into the 25-minute mark of this, the 3rd quarter on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. It's Norwood 17 goals 10. They really have blown this game apart in the 2nd and 3rd quarters. The Eagles are just 5-11. And as we said on the Key Home Loan time clock, we've played 5 minutes of time on. This game being brought to you by In-Flight Travel and also the Licensed Clubs Hotels Association. And of course, when Clements kicked his goal, he was the 10th individual goal kicker for the Redlegs this afternoon. The big thump went down towards half forward. Fruin, who's playing up forward, a shot in towards goal. I tell you what, it's not bad off the boot. It's straight through the high diddle off of the boot of big Brett Fruin. And that came as a result of a big thump from the centre bounce by Biglands, and just two hands touching the footy. Biglands and then the big chappie at centre-half forward. I think he's playing at centre-half forward in Fruin, and he made no mistake from about 50 metres out, but all too late, JB.
It certainly is, DB, and Big Red Biglands reminds you of a 2-year-old colt that's going to make a good 4-year-old, doesn't he? He's a year or two away, but he's got some natural talent there, and he really leapt up and managed to get the fist onto the ball above Pascoe.
Down goes the bounce again. Pascoe, the ball favours him this time. Comes to Colville. Colville, however, gets the handball over to Harvey. Harvey for the Eagles gives it to Rintoul. Rintoul around the body, in towards 10.5 forward. No one there. Tried to be tapped on there by McClure. It goes out towards the pocket. It's Clements leading in the race for the ball. He'll try and come back. No, he goes straight over the boundary line with the foot. He could have been deemed deliberate, but the umpire said no, we'll have a boundary throw in right in front of the key home loan time clock, which says they've played 25.5 minutes of this, the third quarter. And on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, if you've just tuned in, Norwood 17, 10, 112 have consolidated their double chance here. The Eagles are 6, 11, 47. Opt comes away from the ball, in towards the centre, off hands to Holland. Holland to Rintoul. Rintoul now to Harvey for the Eagles. He goes onto the right boot, in towards 10.5 forward. Players set themselves, thumped away by Huskis, gets the ball again on the rebound, and the umpire said he's got a free kick here. It must have been grabbed high. Huskis comes out here towards the half back. It's all the Redlegs. Fleming was there. He got a handball further afield to Harvey. The handball wasn't good, but Harvey cleverly around Kluzak, comes to half back, kicks the ball towards centre wing. Players set themselves at the back, almost to mark to Downsborough. He goes in and gets the foot. He comes out with a handball out the centre wing. It's a beauty to Opt. Opt's almost caught, but bursts through, gets a handball over the top, gives it now to Harley. Harley further afield to Cunningham. Cunningham got the run of the ball. Will he be able to kick it in? He pushed the ball in front of him. Holland gave him the shove and the hammer and tack. The umpire said play on, and the ball's out of bounds in the right full forward pocket.
And I tell you what, DB, Dutchy Holland's the luckiest player here at the ground today, because Christian O'Brien lined him up, and if he'd hit him, would have put him in about next Thursday. But Holland, unbeknowings, just missed him. So he was very lucky there. O'Brien came out to try to shepherd for Cunningham. Now the ball bounced. Burton rises high, and it goes over the line. Smart play there by Borlace. He was expecting the Eagles to try to knock it out, and he was standing on the boundary line, but it just went to his right, and he couldn't quite control it before it went over the line. Jason Ziller waiting to come back on. And not sure who the Eagles will be bringing off. There is a blood rule, I think, at the moment. Gavin Colville is coming off the ground for the Eagles, and Jason Ziller will go on. So we'll wait till Jason Ziller gets into position before we restart the game, which on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard reads Norwood 17-10, a whopping 17-10, 112. The Eagles 6 goals, 11, 47, and a sad way for the Eagles to finish this season. In fact, now it's a double change. Poultryman having a spell, and Brett Higgins coming on to replace him. So sad way for the Eagles to finish this season. But as I said earlier, for the Eagles supporters, a fair bit of encouragement for next season. Only a couple of players short from being a real top side. The ball thrown in. Downsborough gets it down. He's rucked well this quarter. Cunningham gets a touch again, but it goes straight to Chad Rintoul. Now he's down there looking for Pyman. It's over his head to Reen as well. Huskis runs onto the footy, knocks it out towards the boundary line, and eventually over the line, and he made a meal of that back there, Adam Huskis, and it finished up going over the line, which was what he was hoping would happen, and it ultimately did. He's now playing on Brent Fruin, who has been shifted to the forward line in the Eagles making a real attempt to reshuffle their side to get a bit of impact on the scoreboard. The ball about to be thrown back into play. We've got Wiggins there, Pascoe in the ruck. Wiggins gets the tap. Bigland's trying to work his way through. Gee, Lambert throwing some heavy body work in there, but he was really wrapped up in a strong tackle. He was trying to crash his way out, Lambert, but ran into Scotty Doreen. Okay, the ball about to be bounced again. We're well into time on. In fact, we're approaching 30 minutes here on the Key Home Loans time clock. The ball bounced down. Biglands gets the knock on. Bowman goes with the foot. It comes to Pesh, who's on his left foot about 48 metres out. He bends it back. It's not a bad kick. Kluzak there shepherding in the goal square, and you'll find it'll be a goal or a free kick. The umpires allowed the goal to Nicky Pesh, with Kluzak backing back into his opponent, and he was impeded, but the ball has just snuck through for a goal anyway. So Nicky Pesh, that's his third goal today, and far and away the best player for the Eagles on the ground. He's been a tireless worker, has Nicky Pesh, and he's the type of player in the midfield that the Eagles for future years will be building their side around, DB.
Certainly will, and the margin back to 59 points, so 30 minutes have gone in this, the third quarter, as you heard Jamie Braidwood say, and the siren should go any tick of the clock as the umpire thumps the ball into the turf. Up they go. Bigland got the tap down, then tried to kick the ball off the ground. In fact, he kicked McIntosh in the head, I think, and the umpire said play on as it comes up towards half forward for the leg. Leading in the race for the ball is Downsborough, but Burton's there. He gathers it in, then stumbles, goes in after it again. He's about to be tackled, but gets the kick high towards the half-back flank. Players will set themselves at the back. Pascoe, I think, plucked it. He has, out of the hands virtually of his opponent there in Pyman, and big Pascoe kick from between centre and half forward on the outer side of the ground. The big left footer, there's the kick. He'll centre the ball towards 10 and a half forward in front. Downsborough should take the mark, does take the mark. He had the drop on that ball, and he's going to come across ground here. I don't know about the sense of that. It's a chance for Cardlake. He'll get the handball back out to Ops. Ops will use his pace. He creates the space, goes bang with the right boot, and good football as it turned out from the Redlegs, because Ops had the pace to break away, and he's drilled it through for another goal to the legs. 18 goals, 10. That's 118. The Eagles are 7-11, 53, and let's go back to the studio. No, we haven't got any more scores there, but obviously over there in Melbourne, I'd say the game would be close to all over Red Rover over there, and last we heard the Demons were 16-12 to the Crows, about 7 goals, 10 JB, so they're down and out, I'd say.
Yeah, Adelaide might be on an early flight, I'd say, but the ball about to be bounced in the centre, and gee, Obbs must be high in Norwood's best players. He's really played a tremendous game on the wing. Pesh gets it forward, looking for Zilla, who goes for a high fly for little Jason Zilla. Can't mark the ball. In fact, it goes over everyone's head, and it's been wrapped up on the 50-metre line. The umpire calls for the bounce, but gee, Obbs just burnt those Eagle defenders off with sheer speed, and then was able to settle, balance himself, and kick a lovely running goal. Magnificent play there by Damien Obbs, the former Sturt player, and the ball still about to be bounced. The umpire's finally getting the ball down. Down it goes. Wiggins in ruck against Pascoe. A little bit of hanging on there. Gee, Pascoe fists it forward about 30 yards. Harley a clean take, and there's the siren. It's three-quarter time on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, and Norwood a whopping 18 goals, 10 at three-quarter time. So in that quarter, they managed to kick 6 goals, 3. The Eagles 7-11, added 3 goals, 5, and at three-quarter time, Norwood are leading by 10 goals, 5, 65 points, 18-10 to 7 goals, 11, and the Licensed Clubs Association.
Yeah, so all important what's happening down there at the Bay between Westies and Glenelg, and no doubt Peter Greco will keep us in tune in this final quarter as to how that game is going.
Okay, the ball about to be bounced. Bigland's back in ruck. Keating now off the bench again. He's going to take the ruck for the last quarter. Gets the first tap. Pyman then, who's now in the centre, gets it forward to McIntosh. He hangs onto the ball for a long time, but finally gets it clear at only as far as Chad Rintoul. He drives it out wide to the half-forward flank. He's got Lambert, who's made good space. I think he might have lost the ball in the sun there, Lambert, but he taps it over now. In fact, hand passes it out to Pyman, who goes to Tobias. He has to stand his ground. Harvey comes in and crashes him to the ground. The ball back to Tobias. Kicks it forward there. Fruin's in front, but chipping in Keating, and Keating's dropped into that hole wonderfully well today, and he's played a terrific game. Feeds it off now out to Todd Davey. He goes wide out to the wing. That might be Carslake, in fact, on the half-back line. He finishes up going to the wing and finds Cunningham, who's had plenty of the footy today. He goes forward. Downsborough now taps it over the back. Robbie Neal trying to run onto it. Pyman's in there. It finishes up coming to Andrew Rogers. He gives it to Tobias, an awkward handball. Tobias tackled. Gee, he held the ball for a long time. Gets to Holland. Back towards Tobias, but he overruns the ball. What was a poor handball. Higgins then onto Pyman. The Eagles under pressure, but just through weight of numbers, they break clear. Pyman goes with the left hand onto Pesh. He spotted someone who's Rhett Biglands, and Biglands, he's going to play on, but he's got a man loose in the goal square. It's Matthew Kluzak, and Kluzak runs into the open goal, and the Eagles get the first goal of the last quarter, and their score goes on to 8 goals, 11, 59. Norwood 18 goals, 10, 118, and I wondered for a minute why Big Rhett Biglands was playing on, but he had seen Matty Kluzak alone in the goal square. So a good bit of footy there by the Eagles. They worked the ball well, and they got just rewards for their efforts.
Yes, and Kluzak's first goal of the day, which is a bit of a surprise. He's one of their gun forward for the Eagles, and just an indication of how well the Norwood defence has played, or perhaps an indication of how many times the footy's been down there. Not too many times this afternoon. Ball back in the centre with the umpire. He's about to thump it down onto the turf. The big men to do battle once again. Keating and also Biglands. Keating been a great player. Actually tapped it down to Biglands. Clever work by the big bloke there for the Eagles. He anticipated what was going to happen then. Kicked it up towards half forward. Out come Bowman. Oh, grabbed very high by Kluzak. Almost had his head pulled off. The umpire having a word to Kluzak, and then Bowman pushed Kluzak in the chest. But I'm sure it was accidental, because You don't try and rip someone's head off. Not in front of a big crowd of Norwood supporters anyway. And he's reported him. Well, I'm amazed that he's reported him. Surely that was accidental. I can't believe that. But anyway, unduly rough play, I'd say. He's been reported for, but gee whiz, it had to be accidental, surely, JB.
I don't think Matthew Kluzek will be worried about missing too many games at the start of next year, DB.
There's a kick now from Bowman. Good point, JB. Up towards the centre wing position, and Rhett Bigland's in front and takes the mark in front of Keating.
Showed a bit today.
He has. He's a very promising young player. The kick's an absolute Barry Crocker, though, in toward 10 of half forward. Kluzak gathers it on the half volley. Wonderful pick-up and left foot shot in towards goal. I think he's drilled it. Well, gee whiz, he hasn't kicked a goal all day, and all of a sudden he kicked two in about 2 minutes. But that's typical of the Eagles. 9-11-65 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. Norwood 18-10, 1-1-8. Let's go back to the studio.
Melbourne 17-13, 115, defeated Adelaide 9-13-67. In other matches, West Adelaide 9-8-62, leading Redlegs 7-4-46, Sturt 11-9-75, leading Centrals 8-13-61, and Port 12-17-89, leading North 6-1-37. Back to Norwood.
Back in the centre, up they go. Neither player can get a decisive tap away. The ball out towards centre wing. Pyman trying to pick it up. In goes McIntosh, head down and bum up. Picks up the footy. They grab him and fling him to the ground. And the umpire will bounce it in the centre of the Norwood Oval.
And isn't that just typical McIntosh, DB? We've seen that over the years, the way he burrows in. He wins the hard footy, and he finished up coming up with the ball. So we've just seen so much, and Macca now in the twilight of a wonderful career.
Certainly the case, JB. He has been a great stalwart for the Norwood Footy Club. Down goes the bounce. Keating front position, taps it out. Chance for Carslake. He hasn't been their worst player. Onto the boot, up towards half forward. Downsborough in the middle of two Eagles players. Almost marked the ball. Came to Cook. He was tackled. The ball spilled to the ground. Picked up there by Device. Device to McClure. McClure in turn to Rintoul. Rintoul towards centre wing. Looking for Lambert, but much better use of the body by Scotty Doreen has ended up with the footy at centre wing. He goes bang back in towards half forward. There were three Eagles players and one Norwood player, so naturally it came over the back, and there had to be a Norwood player there, and the player was down, but his shot in towards goal was offline and through for the minor score. So they go along to 18 goals, 11, 119 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. The Eagles are lamenting on 9-11-65.
And this will be the third time this year that Norwood have had the Eagles measure, and the biggest margin they've had their measure by is the Eagles play on. Holland to Pesh, back to Holland. He runs it almost out to 50 metres. Doubtful bit of a handball, but it finds Jimmy McClure. Over to Pyman, who's on the ball now. He goes with a high kick. Keating's under that. Crashes into the Eagles player in Lambert. The ball comes to ground to Cunningham. He goes back into centre high forward. Hodgson in front should mark. Had it knocked away by O'Brien. Good play. Over to Neil. Over to Cook, who swings onto his natural right boot. He goes in towards goal. It's just off to the left and through for 1 point before Big Pascoe could get back and put his claws around that. But a point there to Sujai Cook, and good play there by Christian O'Brien created that opportunity with the Eagle backman Hodgson looking short of mark, but O'Brien put the pressure on, and they're the little 1%ers that the coaches love to see. Holland goes out wide, finds Rintoul. Can't see a lot of benefit in that because he's only gone sideways, and unless Rintoul could play on in that situation, the Eagles haven't gained a lot there. Rintoul now goes with a long raking right boot out to about 60 metres out. Downsborough gets in front but gets under it. Cunningham rows it beautifully at the back. He read the ball off hands, goes in short, and he's found, is that Sujai Cook out there? Clements it is, in fact, and gee, he's played a fair game today, Troy Clements, out there on the half-forward flank. He's about 45 metres out, maybe a shade further than that, and he thinks he can kick the distance. Robbie Pyman on the mark. And Clements is going to have a pot shot. He takes Pyman on, runs around, runs into Pyman, but then gets free. He closes to within 30, and it's gone just across the face of goal and knocked through by Jared Harvey of the Eagles. Well, he nearly mucked that up out there, Clements. He tried to take Pyman on, but then he finally got free, but was ultimately under pressure and off balance as he kicked the ball. Hodgson kicks to himself again. He's done that a few times today, but what's happened? The umpire's saying he's kicked over the line, has he? Or he's had his foot over the line? And to add to the Eagles' woes today, the umpire said, yes, you have. You've had your hoof over the line there, Darren. And I'll bounce the ball 10 metres out from goal. Umpire... Yeah. Sorry, DB.
I was going to say, that's just indicative of the way things are going against the Eagles today.
OK, Burton goes up and knocks it through for a behind, and with his big leap, he has no trouble doing that. So concedes a point. Norwood go along to 18 goals, 14, 122. And the Eagles, 9 goals, 11, 65. And since quarter time, the Eagles haven't been able to stop the bleeding at all. Hodgson goes in and finds Harvey, who finishes up marking under pressure. Good strong mark in the end as Pascoe closed him down. And Jared Harvey, who's only come into the Eagles side late this year, has got the ball. He goes in short looking for Holland, and gee, he's provided a bit of run back there, Holland. Now he's looking to play on, but O'Brien holds him up there, and Holland in the end is looking downfield to see where he's going to have to bring the ball along this grandstand wing. Decides, gee, he's really underside. He's taking forever to kick the footy. In your own time, Dutchie. Now he goes out wide there to the wing. Burton's going to go the big fly. Keating's in there as well. Rogers tries to take it, but the ball goes over the boundary line on centre wing. And we've played about 9.5 minutes of the last quarter here on the Key Home Loans time clock. It reads 9.5 minutes, and the score on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, 18-14 to 9 goals 11 as it's thrown back in.
And the ball off hand to Rogers. Rogers to McClure. McClure's handball to Zilla wasn't a good one, so it's taken away by Cunningham. Cunningham in turn to Clements. Back it goes to Cunningham. Cunningham now at half back with the left boot. Comes towards centre wing. He'll set up ball ace. Over the top he went and took an absolute screamer. But he was set up. He had to drop on the pack. He just catapulted into the air, hung on the shoulders and pulled down an absolute screamer right in front of a Norwood crowd. And you reckon that didn't thrill him anything? Certainly did, as the ball comes towards the half-back flank. Ends up with Pyman. Pyman now kicks the ball back from whence it came up towards half-forward, up in front Fruin. And he's tried hard all day, Fruin, and takes the mark in front of Huskis. So Fruin now will kick for goal. The umpire calls play on. He's got Kluzak loose up at... well, between half forward and the pocket. In fact, he'll kick from about 50. He goes with a drop punt in towards centre half forward. He's looking there for a teammate in Rintoul, but he was put under the hammer, and Big Pascoe came out, took the mark, handball to Clements. I tell you what, he's had a few touches today, Clements. He kicks the ball over towards centre wing. Leading in the race for the ball there, we have Neil, and also with him there was Cook, but the ball thumped over the boundary line for a throw-in.
And you really wonder at the Eagles' forward options, DB, when Kluzak's gone across to centre half forward looking for Rintoul, opposed to Pascoe. Exactly, and Big Pascoe had the drop on him and naturally took the mark. There's the throw in, Pascoe and also Bigland from the side, thumped away by Neil up towards half forward, using his pace as ball ace, picks up the ball, goes, in fact it's King who's back on the ground for the legs, and he goes to ground with the ball underneath him. The tackle was applied by Colville, I think, who's back on the ground. Yes, it is, after leaving the ground with the blood raw. And the umpire will bounce the ball between centre and half forward. There's the bounce down. Downsborough with a right-handed tap, tried to tap it down, couldn't do so. Picked up by the Eagles. The player under the bottom of the pack. I'll pick him up when he gets up in a minute. Not too sure who that was. Might have been McClure, I think. And it was, in fact, McClure. Throws the ball back to the umpire, who's going to put it back into the turf. Down it goes. Players setting themselves. Downsborough in front. Thumped away towards the boundary line for another throw-in. So Norwood leading 18-14, 122. The Eagles 9-11-65, and they'll play in the qualifying final next week, either against West Adelaide or Port Adelaide, depending on the result of the game down the bay. And the umpire throws the ball back into play. Downsborough makes front position, gives it over to McIntosh. McIntosh's handball is not good. It gave the opportunity over to Davey. Back to McIntosh. He comes onto the left boot towards half forward. No one home here for the Eagles. A chance now for Carslake if he can pick up the footy. He can't do so, and it rolls over the boundary line, out of bounds in front of the Halfway Hotel scoreboard, which shows Norwood 18-14, 122. The Eagles 9-11-65. Gary McIntosh has just worked his way into this game. He was out of it early, but gee, he's worked hard, and as we know, Macca does. Now in goes the ball. Downsborough grabs it out of the ruck, then tries to wrench it away. It finishes up coming to Cunningham, who goes in, and Sujai Cook's taken a terrific mark. He was caught behind, but manages to work his way to the front of Colville, who was a little bit set up underneath the footy. And Sujai Cook now will have a shot from just inside the Norwood 50-metre mark. And Big Downsborough is down behind play there, and he's having a drink as he goes, but I think he might have got the stuffing knocked out of him there in that contest. Sujai Cook now fires on that goal. It's very close. It's touched on the line. Travis Hodgson manages to touch the ball, and that must have been right on the goal line as Norwood move along to 18-15. They've kicked 5 points in this last quarter, Norwood, whereas the Eagles have added 2 goals. So 18-15 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard to the Eagles 9 goals 11. Now Hodge about to kick the ball in. Holland, I wonder if he'll play on this time, and Downsborough coming off with the blood rule, so he got a heavy knock there, and more than stuffing knocked out of him, DB, and he's going off, and Tom Harley on.
Yes, and he's certainly got some moisture streaming from either the mouth or the nose there, so He'll be right. Just one of those knocks that you get in footy, and under the rules of today, of course, you've got to leave the ground. Back in our day, JB, you had to stay out there, didn't you?
That's exactly right. As Holland goes out wide. Oh, have a look at this. It's play on as the ball's been cut off. There was a clash there and the ball came to ground. Holland looking for Hodgson, but it wasn't on at all. And the umpire's going to ball the ball up about 15 metres around from the Norwood goal. So the Eagles just haven't been able to get it right today, and their use of the ball, they've been under pressure a lot, and that's created so many turnovers and so many errors. Now, Harley knocks it back into play. Rintoul reads it well, though, and clears it out of defence with a long kick out there. Bigland's trying to run onto the footy. It goes past him, back to his direct opponent in Pascoe. He tries to get around Bigland's, but in the end, the ball goes over the boundary line, and I don't know whether the big two fellas showed a bit of pace out there, or it was just that they were opposed to each other, but they look quick.
I think that was the case. In fact, it was a good tackle by Bigland, because if Pascoe had been able to move the ball on, there were a couple of Norwood teammates there waiting to take it away.
OK, Nicky Pesh now swoops on the ball, kicks it high towards the centre of the ground. Higgins is under the ball. He's not the right player to be going for the mark. It comes to ground. He does all right to Zilla. Zilla trying to break away, but he's held up there. And as we said before, Norwood haven't been able to let the Eagles get clean possession where they can run the football and really use the football out through the middle, and the umpire about to put the ball back into play. Now, 18-15 Norwood, the Eagles 9 goals 11. Bit of sting gone out of this game now as we move on to nearly 15 minutes into the final quarter and the key home loans time clock. Norwood go forward through Cunningham. He's seen a player leading out wide. It's O'Brien. The ball bounces in front of him. Geez, he shows some speed, though. Swings onto the left boot, bursts his way through with strength, kicks it then in towards the goal square. Harvey drops the mark. Rintoul comes onto it, gets a voice out wide from Burton, and out there also to Bias. Back to Burton now, and Burton now with a clean possession. Back through half-back, goes out to centre wing, but it looks like it's going to go out of bounds on the full. Biglands couldn't get there in time, and Pascoe will take the kick for Norwood at centre wing on the outer side. So Norwood, comfortable winners here today, probably just taking their foot off the gas a little bit, looking forward to next week's qualifying final. The ball into Harley. He's got Cunningham loose. The ball doesn't quite reach Cunningham. It comes back there. Harvey's in there, gets it out towards McClure. McClure then goes to the centre, gets a call from Lambert, and the pass is perfect. Lambert then onto the right boot out there in front of Kluzek. He arches the back, can't quite hang on to the ball. Doreen now comes in to help Fleming, gives it out wide then to Todd Davey. Clements has had a number of touches today, and telling ones at that. He goes back to Bowman. Bowman right across the other side of the ground. Norwood have conceded about 40 metres there. Fruin slips over. Pascoe then grabs hold of the ball, goes out wide. Is this Obst out there? Yeah, with that beautiful turn of speed that Obst has got. He races away, gets it back there to Sujai Cook. On to Macker, who runs onto the ball. The handball was awkward for Harley. It was at his feet. He grabs it, though. Norwood running players everywhere, and they've kicked it down forward. Is that Borlace? Yes. Who ran onto that foot? He kicks it with the left foot. The Eagles defenders can't touch it, and Norwood just worked that way, worked that ball forward. A little bit of mucking about cross half back, but then once they got it to centre, they got some system into the play, and in the end, Borlace, who's shown a bit since he's come on, has kicked Norwood's 19th goal as they go along to 19-15, 129. The Eagles 9 goals 11, 65, and Norwood just far too good today as we work up towards about the 17-minute mark of the final quarter, and Rhett Biglands back into the ruck again against Pascoe.
Yes, and Norwood's 11th individual goal kicker, a young Borley, so they've certainly had some options up forward as the ball goes down, taken by Pesh, being the Eagles' best player by a mile, up towards the full forward area. Kluzak dropped it. There's Gilla ducking the head. He went to handball to Colville, but beautifully intercepted by Fleming, who read that magnificently up towards half forward. In front there was Nil. He thumped out of the play, taken by Harley. Back up goes the handball over the top. He's looking there for Borley. Through came Harvey, gave it to Rogers. Rogers in turn now to Rintoul. Rintoul advances from the half-back, kicks it along centre wing, but oh, gee whiz. He picked out Fleming and it went straight down his throat. Cunningham's running round here as though he's got all day. The kick in towards the lead there of Clements is just short of his teammate, and he couldn't pick it up, and it went over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Cunningham playing his first game for a few weeks here today would have to be feeling a little bit weary at this stage too.
I think you're right there, JB, as the sun's gone behind a bank of clouds at the moment. It's just a little bit Bangladesh here at the moment. I'm glad I've got the coat on as the ball is handballed by Pascoe. Ops was in the van, but also there was Harvey, the hurried left footer around the body, taken by the other Harvey. That's Garrett Harvey for the Eagles. Comes back out here towards Ops. Ops with a long handball over to Tom Harley. Harley's going to get run down. Gets the handball back towards Ops, who's over on the boundary line, but just wide of his teammate, and it beats him over the boundary line for a throw-in. So almost into time I'm here at the parade. Norwood 19:15, 1:29. The Eagles 9:11.65. Into the qualifying final next week without any problems. And in a moment we'll go back to Peter Greco to find out how Norwood, how Westies are going against the Bays as the ball is thrown in. Taken out of the air there by Harley. The ball comes to ground. The handball is good now. Oh, beautiful interception there by Harvey for the Redlegs. It ends up with Holland. He runs straight out of bounds. And the umpire says throw it in on that left full forward pocket for the Redlegs.
Been a dark day for the Eagles here, 9:11 to 19:15 on the halfway hotel scoreboard. And the ball here is about 35, maybe 40 metres around from the Norwood goal. It's about to be hurled back into play. A number of players around the ball here. And Harley's going for the ruck against Burton. Harley gets the tap only as far as Colville.
Oh.
He doesn't look where he's kicking, swings it around. That may be out on the full. No, now the umpire said out of bounds. Well, it bounced, DB. Now, if it's out of bounds, it bounced back into play, surely. So
exactly.
That's unbelievable, unless it was touched off the boot. But that could be the only reason, because it bounced and went back into play. Anyway, it's a boundary throw-in, and in it goes. Pascoe in ruck against Biglands. Pascoe grabs it out of the air. Only goes as far as Rogers. He finds Leal there by hand. Leal's seen Fruin. The kick's a little bit awkward. Fruin can't take the mark. Gee, Doreen and Fruin clash. Eustace gets the crumbs. It goes over there to John Cunningham. He goes down along there looking for O'Brien, who works his way to the front. Hodgson beats him this time and knocks it away. O'Brien goes in and floors Andrew Rogers, and the umpire, meanwhile the ball's held up and the umpire's going to call for a bounce. Well, gee, O'Brien not only has had a pretty good game today with 4 goals, but the way that he's used his body and created opportunities for the little fellas down there has been exemplary. Now, Scotty Doreen coming off. He looks a bit sore at the moment, Scotty Doreen. He's got a leg injury by the looks of things, and he's getting the applause of the Norwood faithful, of course. But Scotty Doreen coming off, and that could be a little bit of a worry come next week, because he didn't look a well boy at all. Meanwhile, the ball's gone out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a kick in for Leal of the Eagles. Leal tucked in that back pocket, looking for options, but as usual today, there hasn't been many on. He goes with the left boot, kicks it out over the 50-metre line. Burton's in front there. Gee, he got shoved out of that contest. The umpire puts the hands in the air and says play on. It finishes up with Pesh. I'd like to know how many kicks he's had. Goes out towards Biglands, but it looks like it'll beat him and Gary McIntosh out over the boundary line. So the ball out on the well out on the half-forward flank, getting along there towards wing, and on the Norwood side of the ground. 19:15 to 9-11. Biglands in ruck against Pascoe. There's the ball, thrown back into play. Burton goes the big fly. He's got a tremendous leap. He gets the knock, but it only goes as far as a Norwood player in Harvey. Comes back towards Burton, and Burton's going to mark the ball virtually where that bounce, or where that throw-in was taken. Now Burton looks down, he feints to kick and then ducks around his player, then goes with a low kick out in front of Matthew Kluzek, and he finds him just on the Eagle side of the centre. Colville it is, in fact. Colville goes in looking for Kluzek. Well, Kluzek shoves Fleming under the ball. There's a lot of hands on the ball. Meanwhile, Zilla gets it out to Pesh. Pesh fires on that goal, and Nicky Pesh, who's had a very good day today, has kicked his 4th goal, Nicky Pesh, and the Eagles 10th as they go on to 10 goals, 11-71, trailing Norwood 19 goals, 15, 129. And Peter Greco's got some scores for us.
Final score from the Adelaide Oval: Sturt 14-12-96, defeating Centrals 8-14-62. Still playing in other matches: West 12-9-81, leading Glenelg 7-6-48, and Port 14-19-103, leading North 6-1-37. Back to Norwood.
So West Adelaide DB will front Norwood in next week's qualifying final by the look of those results, and Port will take on the might of the Bulldog.
Yes, and a couple of great games next weekend, of course, but here at the moment the Redlegs just sharpening their knives for next week's game against the Blood. So the ball in the centre. The umpire said we'll have a bounce down once again. There won't be a lot of time on in this final quarter because there's only been 4 goals kicked, 3 to the Eagles and 1 to the Redlegs. So there has been a couple of Blood rules though, so that could take up a little bit of time. There's the bounce down. Pascoe couldn't get a tap away taken by Lambert. Lambert gave it to Colville. Colville in turn to Leal. Leal up towards half forward. Kluzak in front. Couldn't mark the ball. Comes to ground. In goes Clements. He'd been a very good player for the league. Get the handball back out to Fleming. Fleming at half back's got Guernseys everywhere across the other side, half back. The kick's not a good one though. Harley's got pace in front of Fruin. Can he pick it up? He can. Fruin's got him. That's a magnificent tackle. Nearly holding the ball. The umpire says play on. Sliding in to help him out there. Looked like Eustace, I think it was. And the umpire will have another bounce down right on the attacking 50 of the Eagles.
And the Eagles are really fighting this out. I mean, they are gone for all money and have been for some time, but credit to them. They're really putting in an effort in this last quarter and no doubt have set their sights on winning this quarter, which they are doing at the moment. Tap down there towards Pyman, but he can't handle the footy, and it goes out over the boundary line once again. 10 goals, 11 the Eagles. Norwood 19 goals, 15 on the Halfway Hotel scoreboard. Game brought to you by In-Flight Travel and the Licensed Clubs Association as it's thrown back into play. Wiggins here, caught behind Pascoe. Pascoe gets the thump. He thumps it Norwood's way. And in there, Harvey working hard. In fact, it was Carslake. He gives it out wide towards Clements. Finishes up back with big Pascoe. He goes on the left boot. It's a high kick. Covers a bit of ground too. Rintoul caught behind. Bounces off his chest out towards Huskis. Huskis is grabbed there by Higgins. The ball now fed back in. Here it goes now. It's been opened up. Clements has got it through the centre. He kicks it long there looking for O'Brien, who's caught behind Hodgson, and I think he may have snatched it actually from the back. O'Brien, he's claimed he's marked it, but it might well... What's he going to do, the umpire? No, he's going the other way. O'Brien's tried to con the umpire. He's then put the ball on the ground. Undisciplined play. It's got to be 50 metres, and I'm not sure if O'Brien had a bit more of that than Hodgson.
It had to be a bounce. It had to be a bounce, because if O'Brien didn't have it, he had half of it, and it had to be a bounce. So I thought that was poor umpiring. Anyway, the ball comes out from Lambert now to Holland. Holland goes up towards centre wing. Colville's there. He's got players loose now as he comes onto the handball, actually. Gives it over now to Kluzak, who's playing it half back. I don't know what he's doing down there. Up towards full forward, almost a one-hander there taken by the Eagles. And that was Bigland. Bigland now on the pounces on the footy. It comes off the boot of Fleming, I think. And no, touched and out of bounds.
I'll say that the boundary umpire didn't realise it was off the boot then, because it definitely was off the boot. Bigland slammed it into the boot of that Norwood player, and the umpire's just single touched over the line.
It looked like it came off the boot of Fleming to me, but anyway, it's going to be a boundary throw in the right full forward pocket for the Eagles. Up they go in front. Pascoe takes it out of here. Just bounds away from the pack with no opposition whatsoever, then kicks it in towards the centre. Speed is on here, taken out of the air there by Harvey. Harvey gets a handball. This is Eagles Harvey over to Lambert. Lambert's in more stripe than Mandrake, but gets the handball away. Comes up towards the half forward flank. Yuskis is there, offhand to Cook. Cook now to Opt, and Opt has got a paddock to work, and he's had a bounce. Will he have another one? No, he won't. He'll go for the kick in towards the lead of Robbie Neal, and Neal can't take the mark, but recovers, puts the ball around the body, one-on-one here, and little Holland kips in front of Cunningham to take a good mark. He's got Colville loose at half-back. That's the way the footy goes. Colville's got it now. He's also got a player loose, and that goes over now to McClure. McClure's got Rintoul loose. Rintoul's got a Guernsey loose in the centre. That's Higgins. Higgins now onto the right boot. Coming down from half-back is Burton, and Burton will have a shot at goal. No, he handballs over the top of 10-10 now for Bigland. Bigland goes into the lead of Rogers, who's come down from centre half-back, and about 3 half-back flankers have been involved in that play, and they really did catch the Norwood defence out of position there, and now Rogers will line up for goal about 20 metres out.
And that was about the Eagles' best passage of play today, DB.
Yeah.
They worked the ball well down that way.
They certainly did. And Rogers a chance to kick his first goal for the day. There's the kick on its way. The goal umpire said he has missed it. Well, fair dinkum. I think that tells the story. He should have potted that. I know he's a defender, but gee whiz, he's a pretty reliable sort of defender. And usually when he has a shot at goal, Andrew Rogers, he pots them. But unfortunately, he missed.
Yes, if Andrew Rogers had to kick that straight to the goal umpire wouldn't have had to move. So why can't he kick the goal? OK, Harley gets the ball from the kick in. Pascoe in front. He's played a pretty good game, actually, Pascoe. He's worked into the game well, and he's really taken up where big Keating left off. And Keating off the ground at this stage. I hope he's not injured, actually, for Norwood's sake and maybe for the Crows' sake. But he is injured. Keating, yeah, he just being indicated here that he may have a bit of a problem. So let's hope that it's not serious. OK, the ball out on that wing. In the end, Lambert kicks it forward, grubs it into the Eagles' forward line. It's worked its way all the way down there about 20 metres out from the Eagles' goal, but has gone over the boundary line, and the umpire will throw it back in. Norwood 19 goals, 15. They've added 1 goal, 5 this quarter. The Eagles 10 goals, 12. Have added 3 goals, 1, and we're well into time on. In fact, we're up to 25 minutes in the final quarter here at the Norwood Oval. Umpire about to bring the ball back into play. There it is, it's thrown in. Pascoe opposed to Wiggins. Pascoe gets a really good thump on the ball out towards Harvey, who runs onto it. He mightn't be able to keep it in. Yes, he can. Tries to get around Rogers, who tackles him well. It comes back to Harvey. He then feeds it on towards Harley. It finishes up back with Huskus. Huskus inboard there to Obst. Obst will use his pace. He breaks away, gives it to Cook, over to Davey, but over his head. It finishes up coming to Colville. The Eagles now out there wide. Oh, it's a terrible kick, though, and it's going to go out of bounds just in front of Carslake. With all those Norwood players streaming forward, surely the Eagles had some forwards loose, but Colville wasted the opportunity to take the Eagles into attack. So it's on the half-forward flank, and once again about to be thrown into play. There it goes. Pascoe tries to work his way to the front. Can't quite do so, though, and the ball's wrapped up again, and there'll be another ball up in virtually the same position. So 129 plays 72. Of course, the Crows losing today to Melbourne, so one wonders what their fate will be, where they'll have to go next week, if there is any next week for them. So be a little while to find out that. Now the ball comes out to Pyman. He chips it inboard, looking for Biglands, and Biglands marks about 35 metres out from the Eagles' goal. So Rhett Biglands, we've said it a couple of times today that whilst his stats haven't been that high, he surely looks to have something to offer for the future for the Eagles, not only with his height, but he looks to have a little bit of football sense about him as well. Now he moves in. It's a pretty nice kick too from Rhett Biglands. He learnt from the previous kick when he didn't kick a goal, and he's put that one straight through the middle. So a belated goal to the Eagles. They're on to 11 goals, 12. Still well behind Norwood, 19-15, but they'll take some consolation, DB, from the fact that they're going to win this last quarter.
Yes, and they've kicked 4 goals in this final term to the Redlegs 1, so certainly had the better of the final term, and we did intimate at three-quarter time that perhaps Mark Micken would have said to his troops that let's play for a bit of pride in this last quarter, and certainly they've done that. But by the same token, I'm sure that Norwood have relaxed a little bit, JB.
Yes, and Norwood just too good, and as we said earlier, probably just taken the foot off the gas a little bit, and find themselves 8 goals in front, when I think at some stage they stretch their lead out to about 11. Now someone's obviously run into the centre square. It's an Eagle player, and the free kick will go to Pascoe in the middle of the ground. He should be able to drive this right into within about 40 metres of goal. There's a high kick. Robbie Neal under that with a few Eagles, a couple of high flyers including Kluzek back there. It comes to ground though, back to Norwood. Obst, who's running out wide, trying to get away from Rentoul. He burns him off. He straightens up on his right boot, but that ball right across the face of goal there, out towards Ball-Ace. It finishes up back with Harvey, but I think in the meantime Ball-Ace going for that mark has given away a free, and that free will go to the Eagles and to Brett Leal. Leal plays on quickly and finds Pesh. Now Pesh has got a bit of room to move. He kicks it out wide to the wing and looks for Fruin, and it's a lovely pass, and Fruin runs onto the ball and marks it on centre wing. He's calling for the players there to drop down onto the half-forward flank. Andrew Rogers, who must be playing down there now, has led for him, and he's finished up with the ball. Swings back onto his left foot, tackled as he kicked. The ball goes in towards Davey, who controls it beautifully. Beats Zilla for the ball. Now McClure tackles Davey, but he gets a kick away. Let's find Downsborough. Bounces in front of him. He grabs it. He's tackled, though. Brought to ground. Gets the kick away. It doesn't go far. Finishes up with Dutchy Holland. He casually bounces it once. There's the siren. It's all over at the Norwood Oval. Norwood 19 goals, 15, 129 have run out convincing winners over the Eagles. 11 goals, 12, 78, and a big win there to the Norwood Redlegs of 51 points. And they've just been too good. That last quarter went 30 minutes. We're about to hear there's a grand old flag, and the Eagles fought it out bravely, but their season's over, and they'll look forward to 1999 with a little bit of optimism, but unfortunately they couldn't sustain the effort of the